Like my theme song. Oh man. I was watching some of my old videos. And I'll tell you what, I understand why they censor me. I get it. It sucks for me, but I get why they do it. Come on. My toots, come on. Come up. Good girl. Good girl, go. Go in. Good girl. Oh, but yeah, I understand it. It really sucks because they don't have a hook, right? They don't have Christianity or Islam or, you know, America or any of that shit. Because I don't fall for any of those things. You know, I don't believe lives are more valuable because their parents had sex here in the United States. That's fucking stupid. And really, so much of it is just that. It's just fucking stupid. Where you just look and you go, what? Why would anybody, how does anybody, but why would anybody ever believe such insanity? I have to finish my video on the Northville tunnels. I know I post you, I just... Can boil water in like 2 minutes. But yeah, I mean, like this is just wild. It's a wild, crazy ass situation we're in, and you just, you know, like I was going, like I said, old videos. One of my old shorts from a couple of month ago, and I'm talking about how gas prices are at $4.20 and climbing. And I literally have Trumpanzees talking about, ooh, they were higher with Biden. What are you talking about? Was there a time when gas prices were higher than $4 under Biden? Sure don't remember that. I mean, it's possible that I'm just forgetting something, but I tend to not think so. All right. Let's see, we got 3 people here, 4 people here. How many other people here support Israel? Don't be scared. Like, just because you're a piece of shit doesn't mean you should be scared to acknowledge that you're a piece of shit. I mean, I guess you kind of should be. You probably don't want, like, I mean, it's basically the same thing as saying, you know, who supports pedophilia? Right? So outing yourself as a pedophile supporter, therefore a pedophile, is probably a dangerous thing for you. So I guess I can understand why you're so hesitant to acknowledge certain things. But it's just disgusting, man. It's like, this whole thing is just so fucking crazy. I just can't. I'm always looking for, right? And to me, motivation is part of the logistics. And when it comes to the Israel, like, I don't even understand it. I don't even think the friars understand it. Why have you been so brainwashed to give a shit about a place over your lives, over your over how people see you, over all of it. I mean, it's just like, you don't really think that I mean, I don't know, it's fucking weird. It's just weird. And they do that to us in many different facets. All of you America firsters. It's all just so stupid. But as always, I would absolutely want to hear from the diehards. You would think it wouldn't be so difficult. You would think there'd be people lining up to support their thing, their cult. But they're always cowardly. I have a group of regular Israeli trolls that come through here. And it's so interesting how inept they are. Even if everything you say is true, you seem to be transfixed on things you can't control and come off as a prisoner of hate. What? Doesn't even make sense. So if everything I'm saying is true, what, I shouldn't be talking about it? How does that work? And the thing is, like, I said this before, my kids are something that exist. And, I can't even say I necessarily tried to have them. They just, wife got pregnant. And I'm extremely proud of my children and all that. But again, it's more of like, it's the way it is kind of thing, instead of some effort that I put in. When it comes to my hatred for this, especially for this stuff, I'm more proud of that than I am most things. I'm supposed to be proud of my kids. Everybody's supposed to be proud of their kids. Like, I'm way more proud of my hatred than I am proud to be an American. Fuck would I be proud to be an American for? It's like the people that ride around with American flags on their car. Like, you're in the place. What is it? Like, who are you trying to show that to? Other than being racist and trying to affect, foreigners, brown people that are around you. What is the point of rocking your American flag? Who are you showing off to? What sort of bravery does it take to fly a flag of the place you're in, in said place? That's not... It's like if you look at it from a sports perspective, right? If you're a Red Wings fan, walking around in Detroit in a Red Wings t-shirt is no big deal. But if you're a Red Wings fan and you go to, say, Chicago or Colorado, even though that whole thing isn't really a thing. But you know what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't take balls to do it in the easy perspective. And this whole idea of a prisoner of hate, I mean, I don't even understand that logic. I'm definitely not a prisoner of anything outside of a prisoner of the friars. We're all prisoners. Big, giant, open-air prison. That you won't even notice until you try to leave or do something to fix it. Then you'll see what a prison you're truly in. You guys gonna call the cops on me today? Have the cops waste their fucking resources to come check on me like you used to? And I thought the pedophile rabbi from yesterday said I was about to get arrested for threatening his life. I mean, I hope they all die. I proudly hope they die. You know, like I say, I'm proud of everything I'm saying. I'm saying these things despite my entire narrative, everywhere around me, everyone around me, the government, everything, family, all that shit, telling me I shouldn't do this. And it would be one thing if, like, I was like, you know, some bad guys, like robbing banks or some shit. But instead, I'm you know, Team Goyim, proudly Team Goyim. And you know, this isn't what we're not even supposed to say the Goyim thing. You know, that's their word for us, and they find it offensive if we say it. Do you know how fucking stupid that is? And if everything I am saying, well, how about we try debunking some of the things I'm saying? You said if everything I'm saying is true, even if. Well, it is true. Right? Everything I'm saying is true, which is why you never see anybody address anything. Like, they'll say I'm a liar, or that, you know, liar's a big one. I'm lying about this or that, or I shouldn't say this or that, whatever. But they don't actually acknowledge what. You know, when they say I'm a liar, they say it's in a general sense. They don't actually try to pick apart what I'm saying, which is the opposite of what I do. I want you to do to me what I do to you. Treat others as you want to be treated. Well, I want you to treat me that way. I want you to pick apart everything I'm saying. Make me look stupid. Make me look like a bad guy. Whatever you have to do. And really, it's for my own personal benefit, right? If you can make me wrong, then I don't have to think this way anymore. You know? If you can prove that I've been mistaken over here, then fuck, man, that's freedom, right? Then I no longer feel so obligated to try to fix this problem, because this problem is overwhelming and ridiculous and far-reaching, and just all the bad, everything bad you can come up with, all the bad superlatives you can come up with, that's what they are. And if what I was saying wasn't true, there wouldn't be such an effort. There wouldn't be so much effort to try to prove me wrong. Or not even that. Try to make me look wrong. They don't try to prove me wrong. They try to make other people think I'm wrong. Again, without providing any sort of basis for it. Like the Coca-Cola fake profile. They honestly thought that was going to be a good one. And I'd be like, no, I hadn't thought about it like that. Yeah, prisoner of hate, blah, blah, blah. Like, that level of stupid is just so far beyond me. I can't relate to it. I can't relate to being that stupid. Oh. What do I know? I only have 3 people watching me, of course. Oh, you know what? Let's share. Hang tight. All right. Oh, look, the pedo's here. Of course, the pedo's here. Seems weird, like you would be so obsessed with me, but again, I'm fucking fine. I'm better than you in every way, and I think that's got to be confusing for you you've been told your whole life that you're chosen, you're special, you're this, that, and the other, when you're just a cowardly piece of shit. Belch. You're a monster. You're a fucking pedophile. Joe is a pedophile. Anybody that's looking at the comments, understand this guy is an admitted pedophile. He's admitted it. And the way that he communicates just reinforces it left and right. Which is the strangest thing, because like I always say, my number one goal in this world at this point is to protect the Jewish children. Oh, this guy again, give me a fucking break, because somebody made you be here, right? You dumbass. Like, this is exactly what I mean. Like, these friars are just so stupid. They act like, like somebody's forcing them to obsess over me. Somebody's forcing them onto my feed. And, it does have to do with the assignment. A lot of them are assigned this feed, directed to this feed. I'm so tired of your bullshit. Well, then why don't you tell me what I'm wrong about then, you pedophile, coward piece of shit? What's up, Ghost Dragon? Yep, 1,000%. Can't be 1,000%. Using that Trump math again? Yep. Going live every day with my real name and face is sure cowardly, especially talking about this bullshit. I do love everyone, though, because I'm so pure, because you're a piece of shit. You're a friar piece of shit. You're just a dumb, and you're stupid. That's the biggest part, is you're just so stupid. I have yet to meet a friar that I'm like, wow, that guy's really fucking smart. Man, he actually said some shit that couldn't do anything with. Rage bait. Oh, I love when people say shit like that. That's you acknowledging how stupid you are. Okay? This guy is rage baiting me. He's saying things I don't like, so he's rage baiting me. What a dumbass. What a dumbass. No, you're dumb. You're a friar, so you're stupid. Taken out of school at an early age to go to the yeshiva, study one book. You don't call out the pedophilia. You deny it. You can't even have a reasonable debate or conversation just because you're stupid. That's exactly true. Let the master preach. I hope I have offended you. I'm trying to offend you. I hope you, in general, despise me. Because the more you hate me, the more you obsess over me, the more you prove how correct I am. Anti-Semitism, lying, cowardly fool. Yes. Which part am I lying about, Joe? Come on. Let's see if you can actually, make some sort of justification for your existence. Right? Just pick one thing I'm lying about. Tell me what one thing I'm lying about. How about the fact that you use anti-Semitism like it's a slur, like it's a negative? I'm so proud of my anti-Semitism. Again, it's more so than just about anything else in my life, because I'm told I'm not allowed to be this way. And everybody else, I'm the one that's going against the grain. At least I was. Nowadays, it's pretty commonplace. You're actually seeing a shit ton of people, right? The people hate you the more valid your points are. Obviously, why would they hate me if I was wrong? If I was sitting here talking about how, unicorn poop is the key to salvation, who's going to get mad about it? You think these guys are going to spend hours of their lives, day after day after day? You think I'm going to earn the ire of an entire country's apparatus? If I'm talking about unicorn poop? No. Oh, lying about all of it. There you go. Look at the coward. Look at the dumbass. That's what he does. I mean, he can't actually engage, so he uses the blanket. So am I lying about metzitzia? Does metzitzia not exist? Does soul correction not exist? Does the Talmud not say what I say it says? Which part? You twist the truth like a true scumbag. What part am I twisting? This planet is a bad place. No, it's not. This planet is amazing. It's beautiful. There are places on Earth where you would just, it's like it's out of a dream. It's not the planet that's wrong. It's the friars in control of things. It's the friars who make life so fucked up. It's the friars who have us literally in a war right now. Iran did nothing. Iran did nothing to us. Matter of fact, the U.S. and Iran had good relations. Relations were good. But these are genocidal freaks, man. They're fucking freaks. You are not qualified to preach the Talmud. Who says that? Why? Because you're too dumb to argue anything I'm saying, so that makes me unqualified? What qualifications do you have to be able to read something and see what it says? You're right. Y-O-U-R. Come on, man, get yours right. The corrupted people. Yeah, I mean, it's the chosen, the system that we're under, the thumb that we're under. That's what's fucking wrong. You know, we Goyim are actually pretty good to each other. You know, until shit gets really bad. You know, necessity is the backbone of most crime. So when people are in really bad spots, they commit crime. But what a sad, nitpicky approach to your chat. What does that even mean? What are you even trying to say? You sound stupid. What am I nitpicking again? You are sick and need help urgently. See, there we go. It's like they have 5 or 6 things that they can actually say. And immediately we're going to go with, now I need help and medication. And again, think about this. The average friar says, if you know about their shit, I'm not misconstruing any of it. I'm not mixing it up. I'm telling you what their shit says. If you know what their shit says and you have an issue with it, well, then they think you should be medicated. Like, that's pretty fucked up, don't you think? Right? Medicated. They want to put you on psych drugs because you don't agree with their pedophilia. Like, it's fucking wild. What do you hate most about the first world? The pedophilia. It's not even a question. It's not even close. My guy, there's still time to hit the barber shop. Oh, how do you like your dudes to look? You like your dudes with shorter hair there? Stone cold? Oh, well, you probably like them bald-headed, right? You're a big Stone Cold fan, aren't you? Try ignoring what? You want to watch me shower now? Fucking weird. Dude, stop rage baiting. The other day, you was racist. You was racist. Yep. Yeah. We're not talking about a race of people. We're talking about a cult. So I don't know how I can be racist talking about a cult, but go for it. I'm already medicated, bro. I smoke weed every day. Okay, good. You're being defensive. That's the fuel the chat will use to get at you. Projection or not, it will happen. Deflect it. No, I disagree. I love engaging in the chat because I love pointing out how fucking stupid you guys are. Right? If I was, I could just ignore all the shit, but what would the fun be in that? It's one thing to sit here and read stuff and go over information, but when you see it firsthand, that's a lot more powerful. When you have these admitted, identified friars who celebrate pedophilia on here proving the point, like, what? Why would I ignore that? Everyone here sees that you are falling apart, shaking my head. It's sad, but hate is like the meth you smoke, and it really shows. Yup, the meth I smoke in the big blunts, because I'm a zillionaire. I have so much meth. I have so much money I can buy all this meth. Again, isn't it funny how you guys do everything you can to avoid what's being talked about? Instead of engaging in what I'm saying, you're crying about some shit one way or another. Yeah, totally meth. Yeah. Even if I was a meth head, now let's just say that's true. If I'm a meth head, shouldn't it be easier to debunk what I'm saying? Shouldn't I be compromised by said meth and much easier to beat? And I don't think everyone sees. I think most people see that you're a piece of shit pedo, Joel. Joel the pedo. Dude, what if he's homeless like me, so he's showered by a gym membership? Yeah, you're homeless, but you have a phone. Yeah, that makes sense. You would say what you say. You would say what you say in front of any friar. Of course I would. Of course I would. Do you think I'm scared of friars? Are you kidding me? Like, I just have to hold my hand out and just put my hand on their nose and just keep them away. You guys are cowardly bitches. The toughest you have is Bowser from Sha-Na-Na, and that should tell you everything. Yeah, I wish you guys would be here. would be here. It'd be funny to watch this happen, but in person. Watch you have your little temper tantrums. And depending on the friar, like if it was Ben-Gvir or Netanyahu, I'd spit in his face before I punched him as hard as I could. Explain what you have seen rather than generalize the power for pedophilia. Give us examples. Enlighten all of us here. What are you talking about? Just look into it. They're the most important mitzvah, well, one of the most important mitzvahs, which is a commandment, a mitzvah. One of the most important mitzvahs they have is the circumcision ritual, Brit Milah. Brit Milah has 4 parts to it. The third part is metzitzia. Metzitzia is where they suck on it. The moil sucks on it. And the worst part is that the entire family sits around and watches this take place. You're telling me that's not pedophilia? Oh, okay. Well, you know what? Look up Israel Hayom, Bottom of Darkness. An article in the #1 Jewish newspaper in Israel, their #1 daily free paper distributed all over Israel. Sheldon Adelson's baby. Israel Hayom in April of 2025 posted the article, Bottom of Darkness. Now, on the surface, you would think, wow, they're trying to do something. It's really good that they're actually addressing the problem and trying to do something about it. But when you actually read the article, you see that it's more of a warning, right? It's not them addressing the problem. It's them warning anyone who hasn't spoken out yet but is thinking about it. not to do it. And soul correction happens every 2 weeks in Israel. And if it happens in Israel, then it's happening in Lakewood. It's happening in Curious Joel. It's happening all over the world in their settlements. And those that aren't actually partaking in the rituals will defend the rituals. They won't speak against the rituals, they defend it. So from the Talmud to their practices, their metzitzia, like the first thing they do 8 days after the kid's born, to the soul correction happening every 2 weeks. What we're talking about is a fucking nightmare. And it's not like it's hidden. It's not like it's difficult to uncover. Oh, call my ex sending. Who gives a fuck? If your ex is getting paid for feet pics, good for her. Have you heard Putin and Trump ran out of hair oil? Yeah, see what I mean? Just dumb. If you're on meth, that's okay too. You are yourself, and you make judgments over your life choices. Yeah. It's interesting how they all use the same wording. Like, not one of them can come up with something, so they all say shit like meth. You must be smoking meth. Because, you know, people smoke blunts of meth, right? It's fucking insane. Oh, let's see. Look at all of this dumb shit. About cults and what she saw. You heard about Mariah Carey's sister and mom? No, never heard about that. Well, Jerry says, loser, you're a loser. Can't back up your lies. Which part is a lie? Still waiting for you to point out something so I then have to back it up. Because you're not really expressing what I'm lying about. You guys want to talk about the Talmud? The Talmud says that as long as the child is less than 3 years and 1 day, the assault doesn't count. It doesn't exist. And you have to take into consideration the micropenis that they all seemingly have. The micropenis is a huge piece of this, right? Because you have to ask yourself, how can a group consistently grape children and not think, and literally according to the Talmud, it says that if it happens to the child that's less than 3 years and 1 day, it's the equivalent of a poke in the eye. That's what the Talmud says, a poke in the eye. And so you have to think, a poke in the eye, I mean, you know, what would make you compare that other than, again, the micropenis? But less than 3 years and 1 day, the assault doesn't happen. The hymen grows back, they say, which is fucking stupid. But if the child is over 3 years and 1 day, up until 12 years and 1 day, and this is for the women especially. I don't know what it is, or the girls. I don't know what it is, if it's the same for the boys or not, but you know, the article only really discusses the female side of things. So what the boys go through is arguably a lot worse, I would imagine. Maybe, I don't know. A little bit. You need to go get a cat milk.
I'm not even going to Dunkin'.
Okay, then I'll have to go get it. We don't have any left, and he's already had his first one. I'll go, no biggie. But 3 years and 1 day to 12 years and 1 day, when the assault happens, the victim or the rapist is required to pay the victim's family the, quote, full dowry, which is 50 shekels, 100 dinars, depending on where you are. And once that payment is made, the victim now belongs to their rapist, somewhere in between a slave and a wife. Sort of a betrothal, but not really. If the child is over 3 years or over 12 years and 1 day, they are, chances are they're betrothed at this point, because what ends up happening in their community is adult men select the child that they want to have at a young age. At 12, it becomes official. And actually, I didn't know this, but the bat mitzvah happens at 12 in the Hasidic communities. The bar mitzvah happens at 13 for the boys, but the girls is at 12. And so from 12 to 13, they're considered betrothed, and they get groomed to the adult males. Like, ask Rabbi Shmuley, right? Rabbi Shmuley's parents, his dad is at least 10 years older than his mom. And his mom had him at 24 after, quote, taking a break from having kids. So you would assume that his next oldest sibling would have to be like 3 years older than him. 2 years would be not much of a break.
I got a text at 6:23 saying.
Huh?
6:23. How fucking rude is that? You're gonna tell me it's 6:23?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's not really rude. I mean, they're doing what they have to do. But they like say Rabbi Shmuley's parents. So meaning she must have been 21 or 20 when she had his next oldest sibling. Him being the youngest of 5 means there are 4 more, right? If you just say that they're having kids as quickly as possible, you're still looking at one every like almost 2 years. So you're looking at 8 years. If you subtract 8 from 21 or 20, you get 12 and 13. Right? Just that simple. Rabbi Shmuley's parents proved the whole point. They select them at a young age. They're adult males, you know, that do this. Like even your stupid ass Mary, Jesus bullshit, right? Haven't you ever questioned why Mary was still a virgin if she was married to Joseph? And it's because she was betrothed to Joseph. And she was 12 when she got pregnant. Most historians will say Mary was between 12 and 14. They're only adding the extra 2 years to sort of soften it. They know it's 12. That's the only way she would be a virgin. Because according to their belief structure, the bar mitzvah, bat mitzvah, makes them an adult. Now, it doesn't mean they can drive. It doesn't mean they can vote. It doesn't mean they can drink alcohol. It doesn't mean, you know, they have equal saying in the community or anything like that. They can tell their moms what to do, I guess. But, you know, it's really fucked up. I forgot what I was saying, but Mary was 12, and most historians agree that Joseph was at least 50, but probably closer to 80. A small sect of historians will say that he was in his 20s, but he was still in his mid-20s, and Mary was still 12. Nobody says anything about Joseph being young, because he can't be. He had children from a previous marriage, adult children from a previous marriage. He had a successful carpentry business. And again, this is according to your bullshit narrative. I'm not saying I believe it or anything. But this is how they operate. And I'm providing you with as much detail and information as I can. If you want to debunk anything I'm saying, you're free to. You can't, but you can try. And this is a very common practice in their thing. And so if they get assaulted, if the girl gets assaulted after 12 years old, the dowry is now doubled. It's 100 shekels or 200 dinars. And whatever betrothal has happened is off, because they're so insecure, they don't want their wives to have anything to compare them to. They already have the micro penis in the first place. And they really don't care about women's, satisfaction or anything. Why do you think they find it so fascinating that the soldiers are taking pictures? They're putting the lingerie on over their fatigues or holding it up and taking pictures of it. It's a really common thing in Palestine, where these IDF soldiers are after they kick the people out or kill them, they go raid the house and they find the wife's lingerie, and they're just fascinated by it. And it's because they don't give a shit about their women. You guys know that they practice female genital mutilation? We're all so upset about Muslims. How dare the Muslims do the female genital mutilation? That's uncalled for. That's unacceptable. That's proof what an awful cult they are, blah, blah, blah. They do it. They do it. They call it female circumcision, but it's the same shit. The binding of Isaac ritual. Right. And the thing is, like, again, I've gotten way behind in the comments, but you'll see they're not going to actually debunk anything I'm saying. Still, even if what he says is wrong, why be mad? Wouldn't it be idiotic rambling if it was wrong? There you go. Back in those times, 12 years old could be legal. That's what you're told. Again, I don't believe any of that bullshit. I don't believe in 50 AD or whatever. I don't believe in any of that BC bullshit. They're just lying. It's all just lies. But as far as the narrative goes, yes, but it's still that way today. That's what people don't understand. In their community, why do you think they have the bar mitzvah and bat mitzvahs? What do you think that's about? What do you think it means that they become adults at 13? Because, here 12 was too much. So they changed it to 13. Why do you think they do that? What, other than sexually, in what way are they considered an adult? Look at this dumbass. Oh, we have the fake rabbi here, the guy that said raping children is an act of God. I was talking about this exact thing, and I asked him, what happens to the 3-year-olds and 3 years in one day? What happens when they get raped? He says it's not rape, it's an act of God. That's what this fake-ass rabbi character said one day. Just like how Joel said that metzitzia isn't bad because it's not hurting anybody. These guys are fucking insane. Look at, all they can do is say, you're lying. Which part? Which part's lying? Torah is an absolute miracle. And they love to try to trick the goy into thinking that the Torah is their big book. It's not. The Talmud is the main book. Talmud says, don't tell the goyim about the Talmud. Talmud says, tell them it's the Torah. Right? This is how this is. Let's see. Bro, this dude is without a heroin addict. He just keeps spiraling. He's on it. Like, look at this shit. Look at the insanity. Look at the desperation that they start pulling out. You never said that. No, you did. You said that was an act of God. Now, well, we already know that you're a liar because I thought I was supposed to get arrested yesterday. The fake rabbi character. Now, the thing that people might not realize is that these characters, like Joel, like the fake rabbi, whatever, these are act.il characters. There are multiple friars that work this account, that run this profile. And this is one I have to read to you for you to really understand what I'm saying. So, you know what? I'm going to read the Call of Duty version of it because it really is just fascinating. All right, so nobody can cry and say that this is some sort of anti-Semitism, yada, yada, yada bullshit. This article is from thejewishcurrents.org. Does anybody think it's anyone else but them when it's thejewishcurrents.org? The article is called Call of Duty. An app called act.il has adapted IDF communication strategy into a massive multiplayer online game. Blah, blah, blah. Same day. This year on the annual Nakba Day, the remembrance, I'm skipping over this part. The same day, a special mission appeared on the app and Facebook page of the online platform act.il, directing users to download a set of images and memes already cropped into Instagram-ready squares and then share them on social media under the hashtag Key to Peace. Designed to disrupt and delegitimize the observance of Nakba Day. Nakba Day is when the Palestinians remember May 15th, 1948, which was the darkest time in their history until recently. But that's when the British troops turned around and Israel was established. There's a whole lot to it, but it's really fucked up. It's just a really fucked up bunch of shit. And again, it's going to be interesting to see how they're going to say I'm lying by reading the article, right? Because it's the article that's lying too. The memes were replete with racist and violent imagery of Palestinians, pictures of suited men transforming into terrorists. That would be... How the fuck is it? It's not showing up for some reason. It should be right there where it says a meme, right? But I guess the pictures aren't uploading today. Pictures of suited men transforming into terrorists, photos of children dressed in camo and war paint. Hundreds of these images soon appeared online, posted and shared by everyday users as well as prominent right-wing pro-Israel activists like Israeli American Council founder Adam Milstein. Israeli officials, wealthy mega donors, and Zionist activists increasingly speak of a, quote, online battle for Israel. Now, before we go further, while I'm reading this, apply it to what's happening on my feed. When you have all these crybabies on here that are desperately trying to change the subject, that are desperately trying to, cry about whatever I'm saying, this, that, but don't address anything I'm saying, keep this in mind, right? Just keep it in mind. Remember, I'm supposed to get arrested yesterday. The fake rabbi said he had called the police and they were on their way to arrest me because I had threatened his life. Fucking coward piece of shit. Your pants stink. Like, imagine what's going on here. Like, this dude starts letting his fantasy out. He wants to sniff my pants. What the fuck kind of weirdo is that? They're friars, man. These friars, it's what they do. And this language of war is not merely a figure of speech. As it has moved online, Hasbara, the Hebrew term for Israeli propaganda pitched to foreign audiences, a key part of Zionist advocacy for decades, has come to include cyber initiatives that work closely in concert with Israel's military. Perhaps the most ambitious of these initiatives is act.il, an app that has adapted IDF communication strategy into something like a massively multiplayer online game. Launched in 2017, act.il sends activists on, quote, missions to like, comment, and share pro-Israel material on social media, and to flag, report, and respond to Israel's online critics. Users jump from platform to platform, countering criticism of Israel with talking points and images that reflect a right-wing Zionist understanding of friar and Israeli history, culture, and politics. The app encourages Israel supporters and particularly friar Americans to imagine themselves as soldiers fighting for Israel on the front lines of a vicious cyber war. In doing so, these supporters form a network with Israel's actual soldiers. The app's CEO, Yarden Ben Yosef, is a longtime Israeli intelligence officer who told The Forward in 2017 that act.il's developers work closely, if informally, with it. Well, he actually said it, and then he walked it back when he realized what he said. With Israeli military and intelligence officials. The app's enthusiastic gamification of propaganda and its slick startup veneer mask the direct extension of Israeli militarism and surveillance into the diaspora friar communal life. Act.il emerged from the Interdisciplinary Center, the IDC, Israel's first private university, which is located in the city of Herzliya, at the heart of the country's high-tech Silicon Wadi, and has deep ties to the Israeli military and state apparatuses. During Israel's 2012 incursion into Gaza, the IDC established an emergency, quote, public diplomacy center to address concerns about the country's image. The center was revived 2 years later when the IDF killed thousands of Gazans during another military operation. Seems pretty fucking spot on, doesn't it? During both campaigns, Israel's military overpowered Gaza on the ground. Of course, because Gaza doesn't even have a government, let alone a military. When you have people with rocks and sticks fighting against people in tanks, it's not really a fair fight, is it? Yet, despite these victories, IDC leadership, which includes former military generals, intelligence officers, and heads of state, continued to worry about Israel's reputation online, where eyewitness testimonies and videos by Palestinians and visiting journalists challenged the state's official narrative. I mean, what is there to even think about here, right? Like, it's fucking stupid, right? They're basically saying, look, we gave you the narrative. We told you how to think. Never mind all the eyewitness testimony and videos that show otherwise. Just like with Shireen Abu Akleh, where Israel initially tried to say that it was the Palestinians, the militants, had shot her. And then when it came out, like the video comes out and it shows that this woman was assassinated. A sniper shot. She had a bulletproof press armor vest and a helmet on. And she was kind of walking with her head down, and yet the sniper hit her in the face. And then shot all around her to prevent anybody from getting to her. And Israel did everything it could to obfuscate and derail the investigation. And then once they were finally cornered and had to say, yeah, okay, we did it, they said, well, we can't hold anybody responsible because the guy who did it was actually killed in a different operation. So, oh well. They can't tell the truth. It is against their religion. At least to us, that's for sure. Israel has the right to defend itself. What does that even mean? Like, it's such a stupid saying. Obviously, the IDF, obviously, friars came up with that saying because it's stupid. That we have the right to, if you have to tell people you have the right to defend yourself, like everybody has the right to defend themselves. You can't claim it's defense when you're consistently the aggressor, when you're shooting journalists in the face, when you're attacking funerals because 2 days after they killed her, they attacked her funeral. They attacked a fucking funeral. The IDF soldiers attacked a funeral. If you can show me another example of that somewhere, I'd love to see it. Show me somewhere where a military operation attacks a fucking funeral. Now remember, she was an American Christian female reporter. And the Israelis murdered her. And now remember, Israel doesn't exist, right? Israel is just a construct. You know, Israel is, they tell us Israel exists. And we go, oh, okay. But Israel is like Hollywood. When they say Hollywood used to be racist, well, Hollywood was never a person. The same people who control Israel are the same people who control Hollywood, and they're very racist to this day. They're not even racist, they're supremacist. There's a big difference. And let's just say they have a right to defend themselves. How come they can't? None of these friars seem to be able to defend their cult or Israel in any. Who's stopping you from defending yourself? Oh, here we go. I'm lying. Yup. Lying and homeless and blah, 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 blah. Yep. Shlomo's World. To stem the tide of online criticism, IDC students, with the support of their Ministry of Diaspora Affairs and other state agencies, set up a, quote, situation room where, according to a campus magazine, volunteers worked around the clock scanning headlines, posting comments, and responding to messages circulating on social media. The IDC quickly established the situation room as a permanent fixture of the university. Imagine if there was a Muslim version of this. Do you think people would be freaking out? So you're a big pedophile fan then, Smokey? Smokey is a fan of pedophilia, apparently. Pedophilia and genocide. That's what your support for that blue and white pedophile flag, that's what you're acknowledging when you fly that shit. That you support pedophilia. The IDC quickly established this, with the help of the US-based pro-Israel organizations and software developers, it also began exporting this aggressive communications model to friar communities in the diaspora. Today, community managers and volunteers meet regularly in media rooms around the United States, or these days virtually, and trawl the internet for posts they deem anti-Israel, which they feed into the back end of act.il. These messages then become the basis for the sprawling online game. Look, I say that I love how stupid they are, right? As soon as every single time, when I say that blue and white flag represents pedophilia, They rush to post it numerous times. What does that say about these pieces of shit? They are pedophiles, man. Their entire cult has its basis, its foundation in pedophilia. Like it's not even a question. That's why they can't actually engage in anything. He evades any critique by making baseless accusations. This is because Guy Williams is projecting his child attraction. Yup. Like, seriously, the irony of that statement, I know they're too stupid to think it, and they're probably so stupid that they think, oh, this is going to get him. But they're literally doing what they're accusing me of. Nobody's engaging, nobody's addressing or debunking anything I'm saying. But their arrogance, right? Their supremacist arrogance has them believing that by them saying that's not true, that's supposedly a debunk. We're not even talking about my opinion here. I'm reading you the articles, right? You can't point to a single friar organization that opposes metzitzia, that opposes soul correction, that opposes pedophilia at all. Not a single fucking one. Across the board, across the spectrum, from secular to Hasidiotics. Not a single organization of theirs is trying to stop the consistent pedophilia that they're guilty of. And yet me, I must be the pedo because I'm trying to expose that. Does that even make sense? Like, what? You know, this is how desperate they are because they can't fucking get anything. They can't say anything. And of course, keep flying the pedo flag. Let everybody know who you are, you pedophile piece of shit. Oh, look. Cheese pizza for lunch every day, says another one of these people with the 33 in their name. Has a 33 in his name and is making pizza jokes. Like, for real, all of you that aren't pedos, do you ever make pedo jokes? Do you ever, when people start talking about pedophilia and how awful it is, do you come in and start making pizza jokes and shit? Is that something any normal person does? Right? Hell no, exactly. And yet, these guys start flying the flag. These guys start making the pedo jokes. And I'm so grateful they're here because this would be so much harder if they weren't. But I think there's a lot of people here that are like, hey, wait a minute, what the fuck? This guy is sort of outlandish and crazy, but man, kind of makes sense. And then look at the comment section. How does the comment section make any sense whatsoever if it's not exactly this, what I'm reading, you guys? When a new user wants to become a Hasbara soldier, they create an account on the app, which is crazy because Mary created an account, and that was the last time I heard from her. I'm still waiting to hear from Mary. I don't know where the fuck she is. Pretty scary shit. Create an account on the app and undergo a training regime with encouragement from a YouTube narrator who explains how the app can upgrade your activism. Do you guys see anything like this for even for Americans? Can you guys think of some sort of group that you can join that's all about promoting American whatever, American, and you join the group, you get points for doing it, you get prizes, and you go around and find anybody that's saying bad things about the United States and you put them in their place and you go through a training regime and all that. Can you think of anything like that for the United States? I can't. You know, I can't. And yet this is not only something that happens for Israel, but it happens within the United States. For some reason, they don't have to register as under the Foreign Agency Act or whatever the fuck it's called as a foreign operation trying to influence American opinions and shit. The Palestinian flag, yes, I agree. Free Palestine to a degree. Yeah, like absolutely. But free Palestine is just the thing that they allow us to say. Oh, look, nothing weird there. That plane just flew straight up and then started flying. That's why the chemtrail looks like that. Right? And then it has the little bumpy thing in it. That's really weird. But yeah, it just flew straight up and then started flying. That's why it doesn't, it ends right over there. But again, think about it. Like, do you know of anything like this? Have you ever heard anything like this? The app then offers a series of missions to complete. Tapping a mission brings the user to a briefing where they are presented with a short description and a screenshot of the target, a social media post, and guidance on how to respond, which is why you never see any of them come through here and actually, you know, you're wrong. Israel benefits the world by this. Israel does the good things here. Friarism is good because of this. What you're saying about us is wrong because of this. They don't do any of that. They're not smart enough to necessarily think on their own. You know, inbreeding has them much dumber than you expect them to be. But they you know, they've only been programmed with the dumb shit. And that's what this is. They're guided on how to respond because they're just not very smart. Depending on the nature of the mission, again, think of just, I know I'm like reading this and it's just like blah, blah, whatever. This is real. This is real life shit here. Well, I guess they stopped. They just wanted to do it over my house. And then they stopped. It's all the way over there now. Just a quick little line over my house. It makes sense. Right? He's paid by Iran. Yep, I'm paid by Iran. So stupid. So stupid. Again, think about this. Like, do you know of any other program out there where any one of you can join and you get sent on missions and it's directly associated with a government apparatus for a foreign country? And the whole purpose is to find people like me and interfere. Like, this is, I don't know what else to provide you as far as evidence goes. Right? How much more evidence do you need? If you can show me an example of this, say for Iran, you know, show me a group that you can join as an American. It has a situation room based out of one of the universities around you. You join, you download the app, and you join. They send you through a training program. And then afterwards, you have a list of missions like you're on a video game. You click on the mission. It shows you exactly how many points you get, whatever the prize may be or whatever, and sends you on that mission. And then, once you're done, you report back, and your report gets sent directly to another country, say Israel. Directly back to another country, which is directly associated with its military apparatus. Show me another example of this somewhere. Right? If I'm wrong, then show me. Look at all this crybaby. Look at all the crybaby. Wah, wah, wah. Projecting again from experience. This is probably what he's doing with Iran. No, it's literally right here. You dumbass. Like this is how inbred stupid they are. If you open up the books on Israel, you demonize Israel. Like I'm literally reading it to you. And I'm asking you, does anybody have an example of this for anyone else? And apparently I'm projecting. It's not the Jewish currents that I'm reading from 2020. I mean, this is from 2020. Imagine what it is now. We have a little bit of a glimpse into it. We know that they have that it's now called RISE app, R-I-S-E, capital A-P-P, one word. And it's now associated with Reichman University. And they transferred the act.il user base of 40,000 plus users from act.il to RISE app. And this happened 6 months ago or so. No, not 6 months. Around there. 5 months, 4 months, something. Like this is without a shadow of a doubt. There's no conspiracy theory, there's no denying it, there's no nothing. It's right here, you can see it. It's right there for you to see. And like I said, if anybody can provide me with the Iranian version of this shit, I'd like to sign up. If I could sign up to the Iranian version, I would. But not only are you not going to find the Iranian version of this program, you're not going to find the articles talking about the Iranian version of this program. Because it doesn't exist. The reason they put out these articles is to shop, basically, to advertise. People might not have known about it. Although the Secure Community Network, which connects 90% of all American friars. Like you guys, the Secure Community Network is some holy shit stuff. Maybe we'll talk about that next. I never understood how people could roll one-handed. Boy, mention the Secure Community Network and my feed drops down to 5 suddenly. 5 watching, 5 likes. I was at like 15 a second ago. Ugh, must not want us talking about the Secure Community Network, huh? But you notice too how I'm like providing you evidence. I'm reading you facts. I'm more than willing to engage. I'm asking you to tell me what I'm wrong about. I'm doing everything I can to be wrong. And that's not happening. And yet my opposition, it's like the complete opposite. There's no evidence. There's no examples. It's just all fantasy crybaby shit. That should really tell you something, right? I don't have to make shit up. The truth is way worse than anything else. No need to make anything up. Secure Community Network, Secure Community Network. Let's, I don't want to forget about that. Secure Community Network, Secure Community Network. Well, just hopefully I'll remember. I probably won't. All right. Depending on the nature of the mission, this might mean writing a hostile comment or flagging a post as inappropriate, or it might mean sharing or upvoting an allied post. Act.il provides participants with talking points. Again, they're too stupid to come up with their own shit, but also encourages them to develop their own language lest they be marked as bots by social media platforms. You see what I mean? They're acknowledging it all. They have to encourage them to sort of maybe switch some words around or, whatever. Because if you see it, they'll say things that are like sort of detailed, and multiple people will say the same thing. Whereas multiple people wouldn't come up with the exact same phrasing, the exact same wording, the same spelling mistakes in a lot of cases, or spacing errors. It's obvious when you see more than one comment that's the same thing. And they're just so stupid, they don't, they have to be like handheld through everything. Like, we're giving you the base of it, but put it in your own words. There's going to be so many of us doing this at any given time that we don't want to be marked as spam. The user is then brought directly to the platform where the target appears and carries out the operation. I mean, think about it. Right? This is exactly what I've been telling you guys for years. Long before I knew about this, I knew that this was what was happening. I could see it in the comments. The repetition, the stupidity, the fakery, every single one of them, created 12, 13 years ago, has 0 or 2 subscribers, whatever. Same shit over and over again. And at the end of the day, I mean, if my goal is ending pedophilia and ending genocide, who the fuck do you think is going to oppose me to begin with? Really? Like, you have nothing else going on in your world that you have, that this is what you want to do, and that, like, all of the other videos you could click on, all of the other different websites and apps you could be using, Facebooks and Hulus and video games you could be playing, or going outside and going skiing or hang gliding or just walking in the woods or playing with the dogs or what. You could be doing anything else in the world, and you're here trying to disrupt the guy who thinks we should kill pedos. Who the fuck do you think that is? Oh, don't worry. They'll keep showing you. They're going to keep flying the fucking pedo flag to prove the point. Like, again, if you're somebody that's on the fence, or you're somebody that's new here or whatever, I really don't know what else I can provide you as far as evidence goes. Like, are you waiting for a Benjamin Netanyahu to do one of his fucking posts about me or something? You waiting for Trump to come out and be like, Guy Williams is a bad guy? What else can I show you? What else would you need before you would understand that something else is going on here? You haven't seen enough of it, whether it's the comment section or is this. Again, this guy is posting the fucking pedo flag and then pizza slices. Does that make sense to anybody? Like, they're proud of their pedophilia. It's why they're all the way they are to begin with. Soul correction happens every 2 weeks in Israel and in communities that are just Lakewood and Kiryas Joel and all these other, Highland Park here in Michigan. Soul correction, where the adults stand in a big circle naked, reciting prayers and all kinds of goofy shit, while the children stand in a smaller circle in the middle, waiting to be raped. It's not even like a fucking, again, it's not, this isn't my theory. This is what they reported on. All you have to do is search Israel Hayom, bottom of darkness. It's fucking shocking. I had my awakening when I learned the truth about the world wars. Europa is eye-opening. I mean, you know, you have to apply that same truth to everything. Right? You have to apply, like, you have to understand that even the things you like probably aren't true. It's all just manufactured. He talks about the same things over and over. Guy has no personality. Yep, that's why you watch me. That makes sense. Like, this is how stupid these friars are. Right? They just can't they can't come up with anything. It's moral grandstanding. Guy Williams doesn't care about children. Right. That's why I'm doing my feed about it every day. And I have to fight against you piece of shit pedos. Yep, that makes sense. I say it repeatedly. Protecting Jewish children is the number one important thing in the world right now. And that's a pretty bold statement considering the genocide that's happening, considering, you know, the church and all the shit the church does, considering all the vaccine problems and chemtrail problems and structural problems, you know, the infrastructure problems, and considering everything that's going on. Me, who thinks that the friars are the number one bad guys without even a close second, I think that the number one thing we should do is protect their children. Gosh, that's weird. And funny, because none of these friars that are in here crying about what I'm saying acknowledge it. They never say, yeah, you're right, we should protect them. We should stop these horrible things. They say I shouldn't talk about it. But they never say, you never see it. You never see any sort of community effort to try to eliminate metzitzia b'peh. Metzitzia b'peh is so fucking gross. And they love to hide behind, oh, it doesn't happen as much as you think it does. First of all, you don't know how much I think it happens. Secondly, if it happens once a year, it's too much. It's too fucking much. But metzitzia b'peh happens between 3,000 and 3,600 times a year in New York alone. In just New York, they're averaging about 10 metzitzas a day. How many moils do you think it takes to manage that? And that's every day. That's not taking off Sundays and you know, Saturdays. That's them performing their ritual every fucking day. 10 times a day. Again, just in New York. What about everywhere else? Again, are you so stupid that you think your arrogance comes in and you think that because you're a friar and I'm just a Goyim, that all you have to say is that's not true, and that's sort of, oh, okay, sir. Oh, okay, I bet, if you say so. Just sitting here crying about I shouldn't say these things, that doesn't debunk any of it. You get that, right? They're provided with talking points, but also, the user is then brought, we already got that far, directly to finally, user is then brought directly to the platform where the target appears and carries out the operation. Finally, they can jump back to the act.il app to earn their reward. Users receive points for each completed mission, unlock badges for achieving certain objectives, and are ranked on a leaderboards that display the top activists in any given month. Again, I just don't... This seems like it's pretty cut and dry to me. Missions vary wildly in tone. Many try to tap into the into Israel's preferred image as a cultural haven and a technological powerhouse. Yeah, any country that's given as much money as Israel is would be a technical powerhouse. The United States alone gives them $3.8 billion a year, which turns into about 15 billion shekels every year, cash payment. Lump sum cash payment in the first fiscal month of every year, on top of billions more throughout the year. Canada gives them around 2 billion. Australia gives them around 1.2 billion. And that's just 3 countries. You know, you're talking about what? 3.8, we'll say 4. Well, 5 if you include Australia and the United States, that's 5. Plus another 2, that's $7 billion. That's 28 billion shekels every year just given to them. For a country with about 10 million people in it. Well, 10 million friars. There are other people in the country that are the slaves, but they don't really count. They don't get any of the benefit. A shekel is their money. $7 billion is not much. Yeah, sure. So stupid. Missions vary wildly in tone. Many try to tap into Israel's... last spring, for instance, some missions asked users to comment on Madonna's Eurovision Song Contest performance to combat culture hijackers using the supposedly apolitical event as an opportunity to attack Israel. They're making songs about us. Like, you know it's important that we do what we do if they have systems set up to find and attack anybody that says anything. Like, they consistently show you that even, you know, a small theater in a random country that's screening a movie, well, they can't have that. And they know that there's no argument. So they know that they can't have, you know, they can't have us see something or learn something and then be like, hey, my friar friend, I saw this thing and it said this about you. Is there any truth to it? They know they can't fucking do anything about it. They know that anything that we see, any sort of education that we get, will make them look bad. That's why they don't want us talking about them. You know, they don't want us, it's not like they want us even bolstering about them. There's a great clip from 60 Minutes where you have Maury, what's his name, interviewing Morgan Freeman. And he's like, Maury's like, Black History Month. Morgan Leo. You don't like it. What? Why don't you like? He has this aura about him. Like, we gave you your own month. What is your fucking problem with that? And Morgan goes, well, you know what? We'll just show you guys because it's pretty shocking, actually. And I can't do it justice. Mike Wallace, sorry, Mike Wallace.
Black History Month you find ridiculous. Why?
You see that? Why? Black History Month, you find, he can't even come up with the word. Morgan jumps in, ridiculous. Why? Why? We gave you your own month. You should be grateful to us.
Black History Month you find ridiculous. Why?
Why?
You're gonna relegate my history to a month? Oh, come on. What
Oh, come on, he says. Morgan makes a fucking dynamite argument. You're gonna regulate my history to 1 month? And Mike says, oh, come on, dumb Negro. Come on, Goyim. Be fucking real, okay? We gave you a month. Be happy with it. Yeah, it's the shortest, most miserable month of all of them, but so what? Just, oh, come on, he says.
Which month is White History Month?
Look at, watch this.
Well, come on. Tell me. Well, I'm Jewish.
Okay, so first of all, that's a huge thing. This is why they're always so mad at white supremacists. It's why they tried to lump Kanye in with white supremacists. But Morgan says, well, which one's White History Month? And Morgan, or Mike, who is the interviewer, who is not supposed to make it about him, who is supposed to just pull the best interview he can out of the person he's interviewing, can't just answer the question, can't just pretend like he's a normal white guy for fucking 5 seconds. He has to distinguish the two. And you can see him start, you go, it's like 5 or 6 seconds that he's struggling with this. And finally he just breaks and goes, well, I'm Jewish. Because somehow that's different. Watch, right?
Okay. Which month is Jewish History Month? There isn't one. Oh. Why not? Do you want one? No.
No. That's all you needed to see. No. I don't want Jewish History Month. We don't want anything to focus on what we do. We don't. No. He says it like you asked him if he wants a punch in the face. No. Because he knows. Literally, that took 30 seconds, and Morgan fucking made him look stupid multiple times and proved the point. In 30 fucking seconds. Less than. Right? This is, it's shocking just how stupid they are. They're just so fucking stupid. It's amazing. Others directed users to comment on the failed Bereshit moon landing. Oh yeah, remember when Israel claimed that they were going to go to the moon? And marvel at how, quote, they were already supposed, this was already said, before they even did it, this was the directive that they were given. To marvel at how, quote, Israel, despite its size, can still make astronomical achievements. That was the thing that they were supposed to say. It just failed. One mission sent users to rally around a fashion influencer on Instagram who was criticized for traveling to Israel. While some missions seek to distance culture from politics, others are explicitly political, asking users, for instance, to sign a petition in which criticism of Israel is condemned as anti-Semitic. Which is a stupid thing. Like, again, it just proves how stupid they are. If it was criticized as anti-Semitism, that would be one thing. But anti-Semitic would be against the Palestinians. The Palestinians are the Semitic people. The Lebanese, the Syrians, these are the Semitic people. There's a reason why Israel has banned DNA testing. Because DNA testing will prove that they have nothing to do with that area. The DNA testing that has been done shows like 95% of those tested didn't have Semitic DNA, came from Ukraine, came from Europe, came from the Americas. They're not Semitic at all. Oh, look at this. I got knocked all the way down to 2 people. Apparently there are 2 people watching me right now. Weird how that seems to happen at certain times, doesn't it? Isn't it? Imagine all the people that might be new here and something fucked up happens and they don't know to ride it out, or they don't know to try to get back here. They think the feed ended. And again, calling it anti-Semitic is stupid. Anti-Semitism, Semitism is policy and predisposition favorable to Jews. That's what it means. Policy, the rules and regulations, and predisposition, your genetic programming. If your mom's family all has cancer, no matter how you live your life, you still have a good chance of getting cancer because of predisposition. So rules and regulations and genetic programming is favorable to them. That's what Semitism means. What the fuck? Oh. So you should be proudly anti-Semitism Because Semitism is supremacy, and nobody should have supremacy. Thanks, Charles. Like, share, sub if you're watching. They do everything they can to shut this shit down. You ever seen a feed with 2,600 following, 11 likes, and 2 viewers? Oh, 7 viewers now. I stand with, see, look, the dumbass has cycled through all the things he can say. So now he's back to, I stand with Israel. We know you're a pedophile, genocidal piece of shit. I don't know why you have to keep expressing it, other than, again, you really don't have much to say. You're not truly capable of having any sort of decent, real conversation. So this is what you come up with. Oh, hang on a second about that. I had to, sweet, he sent the new one. Oh, I think I can hear it still. While we're live. Sorry, I'm trying to bring, because obviously my people didn't get their fucking notification today, so. She-Man. Where the fuck are all my people at? It's interesting how there's none of them here. And then they'll get this and they'll be like, man, I was trying to get in, but I couldn't get through. And we'll be like, yeah, we know. That's how they operate. It is what it is. Sorry guys, you're just gonna have to chill for a second whilst I do my thing. Haven't heard from Carrie in a while. Aisha, go Aisha. Aisha put y'all in your place. What the fuck is Karen? Did I just skip over that one? There it is. She changed her picture. Alright, that should be enough. Cool. I stand with America. Why? America is horrible. Horrible. And it's all just a friar fairy tale. I stand with my fellow Goyim in the world. Team Goyim. Doesn't matter where your parents happen to have sex. You still deserve the same rights to life that I do. Okay? We should be living in a utopia at this point. And when you apply the friar connection to things, it sort of makes sense as to why we don't. Because they actually get off on suffering. They enjoy our suffering. You know that Israel could have taken Palestine at any point. You know, why didn't they just do it from the beginning? Why did they leave them with 14%? They gave them this incredibly shitty offer called the Palestinian Partition in 1946. And it basically said that the Palestinians would end up with 43.5% of their land, and Israel would end up with 56%, and then one little small percent would be like a communal thing. But knowing that, why would they give up 56% of their land? That just doesn't make any, for nothing. For some bullshit that supposedly happened in Germany, 1,000 miles away. Think about how stupid that is. Nobody would ever take that deal. Nobody would ever be like, well, they had a hard time, so I'm going to go ahead and give up, Here, you can come have the bottom half of my house. I'll just stay upstairs. It's all good. And I'll keep paying for everything, and I'll be your little slave. Right? Like, think about how insane that is. Gang stalkers are uniquely persecuting you. Yeah, obviously. You fucking pedophile pieces of shit, because nobody else is close like I am. Everybody else, all of the people you provide us, the Ian Carrolls, the Stu Peters, the Nick Fuenteses, the Dan Blazarians, Bilzarians, Blazarian, I don't know how to say it. These guys all read from the exact same script. Has Ian Carroll come back yet? Nobody's answered my question on that. Has Ian Carroll reappeared yet? I haven't noticed any new videos from him floating around, so I would assume not. But Ian Carroll appears online in March of 2023 and has zero footprint before that. Which, let's just be real, is not fucking possible. It's modern times. You're not a 26 or 27-year-old man when you first appear online, and within 20 months or something like that, you're on the Rogan show. It's all fake. And they all tell you the same shit. Gotta believe in Jesus so we can stop the satanic pedophilia. And that you can't blame the cult. You have to blame the Zionists. Ooh, those big bad Zionists. Ooh. Not the cult. They have cult members that are nice to their face. So you can't blame the entire cult, but you gotta blame the bad Zionists. If that level if that meteoric rise was real, wasn't manufactured, I'd be one of the biggest fucking truthers in the world by now. I've been doing this longer than any of them have. Any of them. I have a much larger catalog of weaponry. Imagine if they let me get to the position, because not only do you have the face-to-face, the talking, but you also have the songs. And the songs are even more dangerous. Because, the average guacamolean, wherever the fuck that is, who knows, they might not speak English very well. So a lot of what I'm saying, they might miss, or it might come out as slang or jumbled or whatever. But a song, they can look up the words, they can translate it. And they can know exactly what they're saying and rallying behind. A song can be a rallying cry. Funny how none of them make songs. Or if they do, they're shitty rappers. Ian Carroll, however, he provided you with a Promise-style download. A Pegasus-style download. So those of you who have been paying attention for a while, you know about Robert Maxwell and how you can't talk about Epstein without talking about Robert Maxwell. And that Epstein is basically Robert Maxwell 2.0. Or at least, from our perspective, who knows? They could be 3.0, 4.0, I don't know. But Epstein was the next iteration of the Maxwell character, we'll say. And Maxwell, at one point, sold a software to United States government agencies, nuclear facilities, military establishments and whatnot, called the Promise software. That was to allow, well, I don't remember what it actually did, honestly. I know Pegasus, the newer version, Pegasus, was to allow any governments that use it, the ability to access a phone or a tablet or whatever, anybody's anything, even if it's not on, they can still access the contents of your shit. That's what Pegasus did. But both of these softwares, or any software provided to you by Israel, will always have that secret backdoor for Israel to get in. And that's what came out about the Promise software that Maxwell had sold everybody. Was that it allowed Israel a backdoor into anybody that used it. So just before he disappears, Ian Carroll, he drops Webb, W-E-B-B, a downloadable app software that you can put on your phone or computer that will help you search the Epstein files better. That is a newfangled way of searching through things that will give you timestamps and dates, and it'll do the hard work for you. Download Webb. It'll help you out. It's free. And all these fucking people put Webb on their phones and on their computers because Ian Carroll said so. Think about how fucked up that is. What's up, Janie? Oh, look. The pedos are going to focus on you now. We all know who Mariah Carey is, right? Of course she didn't. Again, what do you think that ritual that showed us was? Signs a $100 million contract and then goes on TRL Live, fucking getting all naked and acting like a dumbass, getting in a champagne glass, whatever it was, I don't remember. Some ritual shit. You want to sign a fucking $100 million contract? All right, here's the humiliation ritual for you. We think this shit's funny. Nobody watching it thought it was funny. Everybody watching it thought it was cringe as fuck, and we're wondering, like, why is anybody letting this continue? Why aren't they just shutting this down? Obviously, she's in a bad way right now. Not them, though. They think that shit's funny. Yeah. Anyway, still other missions plead for users to report videos on Instagram or Facebook that supposedly incite and glorify terrorism. I mean, anything that supports Israel incites and glorifies terrorism. Israel's existence is terrorism. There should not be an Israel. You know what's crazy? Is fucking all of us, every single one of you watching my feed, you all believe that Israel was created as a result of the Holocaust, as sort of a payment to the friars for what happened in the Holocaust, right? That's what we all have been trained to believe. But even if you ask Grok, was Palestine payment for World War II and Israel being founded, was that? It'll tell you no. The friars had been invading Palestine since the 1880s at least. 1881 was the first Aliyah. And surprisingly, I can't say too much about this because apparently knowing this version of history really upsets the system. But just understand that bad guy land would not exist without Baron Redshield. I don't know what else to say. You got to know. Baron Redshield. Literally, it would not exist today. Bad guy land would not exist today without the number one conspiracy family. Like if I ask any person, like even the most straight, conservative person, whatever, like, well, those conspiracy theorists, what's the family that they always blame for things? They're going to say, oh, it's the Redshields. Yeah, everybody knows about the Redshields or the Rockefellers. But the Redshields are all over everything. (1948). That's when it was founded. That's when it was established. May 15th, 1948 to be exact. But that's just the official. They'd been slowly invading Palestine at around 10,000 people per year since around the 1880s. I think their cult sort of appears around 1840 or 50. You know, there doesn't seem to be a whole lot of evidence to support them existing prior to that. Outside of shit like blood libels. And it's funny how blood libel has been stolen by them, just like anti-Semitism. Anti-Semitism was created in the 1880s for exactly, like, if you look it up today, Grok will tell you it's specifically about hating Jews and hating, that's what it is. If it was about hating Jews, why wouldn't it was a way to sound more scientific about it or some shit. Why not just say they're anti-Jewish if that's what they're supposed to be? Instead, Semitism means policy or predisposition favorable to them, which is supremacy. So anti-Semitism is just anti-supremacy. Yet somewhere along the lines it got hijacked and turned into their phrase. And they're doing it now with blood libel. They say it all the time. Oh, that's blood libel. You can't say that. That's blood libel. Well, blood libel is historically them kidnapping children, especially Christian children, draining their blood and using their blood for rituals, baking it into their bread and eating it and using it for rituals. That's what blood libel historically meant. And there are like at least 100 examples of it on YouTube or on Wikipedia alone. Something that isn't true, that never happened, that's just a made-up story, and yet there are like 100 examples on Wikipedia alone. It's fucking crazy how dumb they are, right? That shit wasn't told to me in school. Hey, did you ever hear about the Havara Agreement? I bet you didn't. I bet you didn't. Let's do this. Because this is important. How many heard about the Havara Agreement when they were in school? Yeah, well, we're not talking about the Rockefellers, are we, stupid ass? We're talking about the Red Shields. So the Havara Agreement, Havara, that way you'd never find it if you're trying to look it up. The Havara Agreement, or Transfer Agreement, was an agreement between Nazi Germany and the Zionist organizations. Did you ever hear about the Zionist organizations when you were in school? How many times did the teacher tell you about the Zionist organizations and how they were a powerful government agency, you know, apparently on par with the Nazis themselves? Did you hear about that shit? No? Oh, weird, huh? Between the Zionist organizations, signed on August 25th, 1933. The agreement was finalized after 3 months of talks by the Zionist Federation of Germany. Did you hear about the Zionist Federation of Germany? Did you ever hear about that? I don't remember hearing about the Zionist Federation of Germany. The Anglo-Palestine Bank, under the directive of the Jewish Agency. Did you ever hear about the Jewish Agency? Or the Anglo-Palestine Bank? Weird. I heard about the Nazis over and over and over and over and over again. Every single year that I was in school, you know, they don't do it as much now because of the internet. Back when they controlled everything we knew, back when they would say you got to do a book report and they would tell you which books to take out because they knew, that was different. They could control the narrative. Nowadays, they try to pull this shit off and some kid walks in and says, well, what about the Havara Agreement? That's going to cause a lot of problems, so they don't do it. But when I was a kid, we had at least a month every single year that was dedicated to World War II, the Holocaust, and why they are special and, you know, they deserve all the favor and Semitism and all that shit. I'm 47, so that lasted, you know, up through the 90s. So So maybe if you're like 40 and above, you had the same thing. But yeah, I mean, you know, it was, and especially if you're older than you, it was every single month or every single year. One solid month of Anne Frank and fucking, you know, who, I don't even know. It's all just dumb shit. We would hear about these dumb fucking stories. The Diary of Anne Frank. But you'd only hear the glorified side. You'd never hear how it was all fake and lies and proven to be fake, written with a pen. The father did it. Clearly the father did it. And the economic authorities of Nazi Germany. The agreement was finalized after 3 months of talks by the Zionist Federation of Germany, the Anglo-Palestine Bank, under the directive of the Jewish Agency, and the economic authorities of Nazi Germany. It was a major factor in making possible the migration of approximately 60,000 German friars to Palestine between 1933 and 1939. Sure does kind of take away from the whole they hated them and tried to kill them, blah, blah, blah bullshit, right? It actually paid for them to go. The Nazi government was paying for them. Right, that makes sense, doesn't it? You know, there's a Holocaust museum in every major city in the United States. There are other Holocausts, but there's not museums for them everywhere. The whole 6 million thing supposedly happened from 41 to 45. It was a 4-year period. And it works out to like 1,000 bodies every single day. It's impossible. It's just not true. There were only 3 million friars in Europe at the time. So, and most of them escaped here. So where did you even get this 6 million from? They didn't exist. There are multiple examples of them trying to seed the population with the idea of 6 million them. There's plenty of articles that have been found, newspapers from prior to, talking about 6 million of them being persecuted and blah, blah, blah. It's crazy. If you look up 6 million lies, if you can find the documentaries, because they're hard to find, obviously. But there's 2 of them that I've seen. One is a guy like showing you the newspapers, and another one is an actual documentary that was made. It's a little long, but it's fucking telling. If you can find it, 6 million lies. Okay, Facebook supposedly incite and glorify terrorism, even if the offending content is a provocative music video set to a political song from the 70s that doesn't advocate violence. So basically, anything that goes against what they like, they report it. You know, they say it's to stop the violence, anybody who's advocating for violence against them. But also anything that doesn't advocate for violence but still points out the really bad shit. So each mission is accompanied by a title card that fits the hyperbolic language of the act.il's directives. While cultural missions tend to have a positive slant with heart-filled pink and purple title cards. Fucking weird. Many missions feature explicitly racist language and violent imagery. These cards feature depersonalized, closely cropped, angry red photos with anonymous Arab males wearing keffiyehs, throwing stones, setting fires and rioting. One mission asked users to like a Twitter comment responding to an article from the Reuters news service, quote, "The vast majority of Gazan deaths were terrorists." Yeah, right. So disgusting. So disgusting. It's amazing how many terrorists there are, yet they're so unsuccessful. There are no Israeli attacks that can be documented, or, every once in a while they'll claim something. And whenever they do, it's like 3 people or 4 people at the most. The amount of people that could have died in a car accident, or maybe half of them died in a car accident and then they pulled the plug from somebody else. But they stage it to make it look like it's some sort of attack. In early 2023, there was one of these supposed attacks where 2 gunmen showed up to a gas station and opened fire, killing 2 girls under 21 or something, like under 23 or something like that. A 27-year-old, something a little bit older, and then a 45-year-old or something, 50-year-old, something like that. There's 4 people total. And then, of course, they escaped, only to have a settler shoot one of them in the head, and then the IDF found the other one and shot him. So there is no narrative given by the terrorists themselves. It's literally all manufactured and presented by the IDF. And the way they presented it was that the craziest part was this brought on one of their famous settler rampages, where settlers get in a big long line, like when people are looking for someone, when someone goes missing, and they have one of those big long lines where everybody just walks in a group and they walk forward, scanning the ground, looking for anything so they can cover an area, right? The settlers do it, and they destroy everything they come across. They beat people up, they set fires to shit, they cut down olive trees, whatever. It's called a rampage. The rampage, the rampager said that they waited to start the rampage until the 2 girls that were under 20, whatever, 3, until they were buried in the ground. The rampage happened 2 hours after the supposed shooting. Sound a little manufactured to you? How do you have a shooting, an investigation, a funeral, and a burial all within 2 hours? That don't make no sense. And that brings me to Samantha Wohl. Do you guys remember Samantha Wohl? Samantha Wohl was a friar community leader, female obviously, here in Michigan, here in the Detroit metro area. And on October 21st, at around 6:30 or between 5 and 6 a.m. Strange we don't get an exact time on that. Between 5 and 6 a.m., she was found on her front lawn by one of her neighbors with multiple stab wounds in her stomach and face and neck, defensive wounds and shit. Multiple stab wounds. She had bled out. Initially, they didn't have any suspects or anything like that. As soon as it happened, the news was all, we're not trying to say that this has any connection to the October 7th attacks, but, it might. So, we're not saying it does, but it might. And I remember watching it with my wife and saying, watch, as soon as we find out it was her boyfriend or some shit, and it wasn't anything to do with October 7th, the story will go away. And that's basically what happened. The story just went away. Come to find out, a couple months later, a mystery man is arrested, identity withheld, and eventually let go. Only to find out later that it was her boyfriend, who she had just broken up with, who called the police and told them that he thinks he might have done it. He doesn't quite remember it, but he thinks he might have. And then he was released because it turns out that day he had accidentally taken a double dose of the psych meds that he was on and hit his weed pen 4 times. And that made him call the police and confess to a murder he didn't commit. Either way, he was given immunity for some fucked up reason. And this black guy who happened to be arrested that same night, they tried to just dump it all on him. His name's Michael Jackson Bolanos. And he was not a good guy. He was out looking for cars and shit to break into that night. And I'm not really sure. I think he might have came across the body on the front lawn and was like, oh shit, white woman, I need to get the fuck out of here. But they tried, the friar judge, who, if she's a friar community leader in the same city that this judge operates out of, they knew each other. There's no question of whether they knew each other, and he should absolutely recuse himself from that position. That's not a fair thing. The defense actually asked for a new judge, asked him to recuse himself because of his obvious bias. Because even though the prosecution said that they were going to charge him with this and this, the judge insisted that they, which doesn't happen, by the way, the judge insisted that they add a bunch of hate crime charges and all this other bullshit, in which prosecutions don't do that. They only tend to go for the things that they think they can get a slam dunk on. They don't, if there's any room for any sort of wiggle, any way out, they don't want to pursue it. And this clearly wasn't a hate crime or anything like that. I mean, this was even if it was Michael Jackson Bolanos, he didn't target this broad because she was friar and hated. The narrative was that apparently she had went to a wedding the night before, and they're not going to say it, but she was so drunk when she drove home that she never closed her front door because she has like this super advanced, what's up, man? She has this super advanced security system that monitors every movement in the house, really a weird, advanced sort of Israeli security system. But she was supposedly watching movies, and it's crazy. The thing is, she was stabbed multiple times. And Michael Jackson Bolanos didn't have any blood on him. You can't stab somebody multiple times and not get blood all over you. He was found a mile away from the scene a minute after her special alarm system detected movement in the house. Fucking stupid. And then eventually they said they found 2 microscopic dots of blood on his black jacket that could only be seen by special computers. Again, if you're stabbing somebody multiple times, the blood is squirting out all over you. It's gross. It's just a gross scene. And it would take a lot longer than there's movement detected, and then he runs a mile away and they catch him. He was doing a really fast fucking mile if he made it in a minute. But that's what they went on. And they just tried to throw everything at him that they could. And even the boyfriend was brought up on the stand. Although he had immunity, the defense made him look like he was completely guilty. Like he was just, the defense roasted him. He's clearly the one that did it. A crime of passion like that, where you stab someone multiple times, you don't do that when you're robbing someone. That's a crime of passion. That takes passion to be able to, that knife gets stuck and you pull it back out and all that shit. I've watched enough CSIs to know that shit. And Michael Jackson Bolanos didn't steal a thing from her. So he just, what, he just killed this broad for no reason? Come on, it's just stupid. Eventually, after like a year plus, they failed on every charge. Everything they beat except the one charge of lying to police. Michael Jackson Bolanos was given 18 months to 25 years for lying to police. Have you ever heard of that before? You ever heard of somebody getting a sentence of 18 months to 25 years for anything, let alone lying to police? Pretty fucking crazy story, right? Not even the craziest part yet. The craziest part is that, remember, she was found between 5 and 6 a.m. on October 21st. The morning edition newspapers from October 22nd, meaning they had to be put together overnight, you know. They come out at 5 in the morning, whatever it may be, for, you know. So they had to be put together 2, 3 in the morning. The morning edition newspapers the next day talk about how beautiful her funeral was and that over 1,000 people attended it. Let that sink in for a minute. Just think about that. How do you kill someone? How does somebody be murdered and have their funeral the same day? It had to be the same day. This is a community leader. Found stabbed. There's no leads. There's nothing. They have nothing. And yet, she somehow jumps to the top of the autopsy list, jumps to the top of the investigation list, jumps to the top of the burial list, because again, I guess the cemetery didn't have anybody else going in that day. And they were just able to throw together a grave and a tombstone, and over 1,000 people were just able to drop whatever the fuck they were doing that day and go to a funeral? This is a friar community leader. Don't you think there would have been family in Israel that would have wanted to be at her funeral? How do you possibly have a funeral for someone that was murdered within hours of said murder? Was she Muslim? Why funeral on the same day? There is no Muslim, Christian, doesn't matter who it is. In the United States, there are protocols. Right? There are police protocols that have to be adhered to. Now, you see this time after time with their shit. For some reason, their need for the body to be in the ground within 72 hours trumps all protocol, all laws and all that shit, which, you know, it only makes sense if you're saying, you know, they did this so that they could prevent proper investigations to happen. What would be the other reason for it? What would be a reason why you insist that the body is in the ground 3 days after, within 3 days? The supposed shooting at the Pennsylvania synagogue, 2018, Robert Bowers Jr., supposedly. I did a real deep dive into this narrative, and it's just bullshit. It's just clearly bullshit. They lay it all out by the minute, which for some reason I don't know how they can do that, but they don't do that with anybody else. But if you read this story, it reads like a story. It doesn't read like an actual event that happened. But he supposedly killed 11 people on a Sunday. On Monday, half of the people were buried. And on Tuesday, the other half were buried. How do you do that? How do you do that? Look at these crybabies. Or even one day after death. Right. That's not how it works. Especially if somebody is murdered and there's no suspects. And, you know, it's a high profile crime and shit. Exactly, to cover their BS. It's time to take your meds, bro. Yup. Take your meds. Always got to take your meds because that's what they've learned since the beginning. So, Auto-Emancipation is one of the most important documents in friar existence. Auto-Emancipation is a pamphlet written anonymously. It was anonymously written, and then later on, I think even after his death, it was said to be written by this guy. But it was anonymously written in German by a Russian-Polish friar, doctor, who was only a doctor because he had gotten his law degree, but friars weren't allowed to practice law in Russia, which makes no sense. Then why would you get that degree? So he just decided to become a doctor instead. You know how that works. And activist Leon Pinsker in 1882, a year after the first Aliyah began. It is considered a founding document of modern friar nationalism, especially Zionism. Now, you would think, again, they would go into why they're so good, why this, why, you know, the first thing they say is, Pinsker discussed the origins of anti-Semitism and argued for friar self-rule and the development of a friar national consciousness. He wrote that friars would never become equals to the Goyim until they had a state of their own. Because, you know, everybody has a state of their own, don't they? Right? Everybody just has a state of their own where they live under their own rules and laws and don't have to answer to anybody or anything. Right? He called on friar leaders to convene and address the problem. It's the most important part. In the pamphlet, he describes anti-friar attacks, me, or anybody that talks bad about them, as a psychosis, a pathological disorder, and an irrational phobia. If you call out what they do, you have mental issues. You need to take your meds. Everything they say is programmed. They've been using this narrative from the beginning because they know there's no way to justify metzitzia. They know there's no way to justify soul correction, no way to justify the Talmud, no way to justify their supremacy. They're piece of shit, man. Physically, mentally, emotionally, all of it. They're just pieces of shit. So nobody would ever look at them and be like, oh yeah, you're the superior ones. Like, they know that's not going to happen. They know they can't argue for it. So what's the next best thing? Well, the next best thing is shoot the messenger. Right? Shoot the messenger. Dave Chappelle says, the worst thing to do is to call somebody crazy because it's dismissive. And he's right. When you call somebody crazy, you stop listening to what they have to say. And that's their whole game, is to make the person saying it crazy, so then everything they say becomes null and void. And that's literally their only option. They don't have anything else. I keep telling you, they're fucking inbred and stupid. It's not even a question. Goyim. That's what they call us. That's how they refer to us. Anything that isn't them is Goyim, actually. So, the Goyim tree, the Goyim car, the Goyim cat, the Goyim dog, the Goyim cattle. The Goyim. Anything that isn't them is Goyim. It's beneath them. It's there to service them. It's fucking crazy. But this whole notion of, you are crazy, you need to take your meds. Go watch the episode of South Park with Cupid Yee. Apparently, I guess there's more than one episode with Cupid Me. I didn't know that. There's 3, I think. But there's a Valentine's Day episode, and Cupid Me is a naked version of Cartman, because those friars at South Park love drawing little kid penises, because that's hilarious, right? They Cupid Me is this angel, this Cupid that only Cartman can see. And he flies around going tee-hee, tee-hee, and he shoots people with arrows, and they have their love experience, whatever, stupid shit. Well, this time, Cupid Me hasn't been taking his meds. So now he's Cupid Yee, like Kanye. Stupid Kanye. Stupid Yee. And he's going around telling everyone that Kyle controls Hollywood. And the thing is, like, in 1998, they made a movie called Hollywoodism, where they completely flex. And it's all about how they control Hollywood. Always have, always will. So to say that they control Hollywood is some sort of conspiracy theory bullshit, it's just dumb. It's admitted. They're proud of it. Did you call and see what's on there?
You can get Kevin.
Just call.
There's enough on there. It's just I'm trying to save enough to pay the DTE out of it too.
Please call.
There's enough on there.
Okay. When?
Did you do something else?
Yes.
You can't. It was just... God damn it.
Oh yeah. So he's saying that Kyle controls Hollywood, and the whole point of the episode is they keep saying, Cupid Yee, take your meds. You got to take your meds. Cartman keeps trying to catch him to get him to take his meds, and eventually Cartman does catch him, holds him down, and forces a blue pill into his mouth. And the last thing he says is, no, man, those control my mind. He swallows the pill. The outfit disappears, and he floats around again going, tee-hee, tee-hee. So he knows everything. He just doesn't care. And it's pretty fucking, it's interesting, because take your meds is one of their weapons. They think mental illness is funny. They throw that shit around. They do all this because, again, They know they can't have intelligent conversation about it. Watch.
Time to take your meds. No, good how people control me. You're taking your meds, one way or another. No, I'm not taking it. You're taking your medication. Let me go. I'm not taking it. Cupid me? You guys, it's Cupid me. He's back.
See that? Take your meds. Take your meds. You're crazy. Take your meds. They made it into a fucking joke. Joke. Ha ha. Get it? Ha ha. Would you guys think that's funny as shit? And of course, it's Jerry. It's Jerry the Friar that says the predictable shit. They always say the predictable shit. Seriously, this is what they're programmed with. This is how it works, man. It isn't funny only because I lived through it. It's messed up. Right. It's not funny because it's not funny, not because you had to go through it. It's because it's not funny. Right? It's disgusting. I mean, again, I keep wondering, like, what more can I show you guys? What more do you guys need to see? We were at the title cards. Racist language and violence. These cards feature depersonalized, closely cropped, blah, blah, blah. The Gazan deaths were terrorists. Has a card that shows the head and hand of a keffiyeh-clad youth ready to launch a stone. Imagine how desperate people have to be to throw stones at tanks. I think the majority of us, if tanks came rolling down the street, we'd surrender. We wouldn't get a bunch of rocks and fucking start throwing them, knowing we're not going to do shit, but this is just our way of saying fuck you. The vast majority of us would cower to tanks. And yet these brave fucking kids mostly are out there throwing stones, throwing sticks, doing anything they can to try to fight their oppression. Because nobody's coming to help them, especially not some dumbass God. Another card shows just a hand holding a knife dripping with blood, an allusion to a spate of stabbings committed against Israelis in 2015 and 16. Funny how there's always these things when they need them to happen, and then they never happen again. You know, October 7th, supposedly, Hamas was able to fire 5,000 rockets in 20 minutes, in the first 20 minutes. Happened so fast that nobody could catch it on film. 5,000 rockets in 20 minutes. 4 rockets every second for 20 minutes. And yet they haven't been able to do anything even close to that since. You guys know immediately Hamas supposedly was willing to give up all of the hostages if Israel would just stop their bombing. And in response, Israel was like, fuck that, we're going to bomb you even more. Because somehow there are hundreds of missing hostages. They don't know where they are, yet they're indiscriminately bombing everywhere. What sense does that make? And then remember, they used the terrorist thing, or the hostages thing, for a good year plus. They milked that. When was the last time you heard anything about those poor Israeli hostages? Nothing. Nothing. Because they don't want you looking into it. Because it's fake. It's a fake narrative. It always was a fake fucking narrative. One defining feature of the act.il network is its no logo policy, an explicit practice of removing sources and context from publicly shared images and documents. Right. So there's no paper trail. As the act.il website and promotional documents explain, the no logo policy is designed to persuade people who don't already have strong opinions about Israel. Oh, that's what it is. It functions as a kind of anti-brand, making ideological statements appear neutral and organic. Making it sound like regular people are saying these crazy, we should give, all of us should give all of our everything to them because they're just so much better than we are. That sounds like something everybody would say, right? Context highlights the subjectivity of political rhetoric. Act.il aims to wash context away and thus portray particular right-wing Zionist views as obvious or indisputable. Unless, of course, you question them, then they fall apart and start crying. In keeping with this strategy, act.il's website presents the app as a grassroots, crowdsourced initiative fueled by, quote, the power of communities. Although in reality, it's very much a top-down production. The IDC commissioned the platform in conjunction with 2 well-funded US-based pro-Israel groups, the Israeli American Council and the Maccabee Task Force. Again, Maccabee is a celebration of circumcision. It's why Hanukkah is celebrated, to celebrate circumcision. It's all about the circumcision, man. It's so important. And that's Sheldon Adelson's bullshit. The former is a cultural organization devoted to Israeli American advocacy and has a lobbying arm that pushes anti-BDS legislation in hawkish foreign policy positions. The latter, funded by Sheldon Adelson and directed by Christian Zionist David Brogg, the fuck, is devoted to combating BDS on college campuses. Why would Christians ever give a shit about this? Christian Zionists have to be some of the dumbest people in the world. Yes, that's what Hanukkah is. It's a celebration of circumcision, of winning the right to circumcise. It's a celebration of the Maccabee Revolution, which is a battle over circumcision. They'll tell you it's a festival of light. No, it's about circumcision. Act.il was developed by Rallyware, an employee productivity software firm whose customers include Avon and Samsung, and its interface closely resembles a gamified employee training and surveillance tool. Yet, how come we don't have this? The app's human resources aesthetic and management style are reflected too in the media rooms that pump data into act.il. Website administrators recruit high school and college students to become volunteer mission coordinators with the promise that they will be coached and mentored by professional digital and social media managers. LinkedIn searches for many of the activists topping the mission leaderboards. LinkedIn searches 4, many of the activists topping the mission leaderboard show the media room volunteers and paid staff tend to top the charts rather than the 22,000 grassroots users the network boasts about. And this was in 2020. Remember, when it was reinstated, it was 40,000 plus. So. Act.il has had some tangible success when students at Pitzer College in Southern California pushed the school to drop its Israel Study Abroad program that they don't have for anybody else. The network organized a campaign with a widely shared petition, a video featuring student interviews, and missions directing users to contact the school and register complaints. While the vote to drop the program was passed by the student government, the kids that go there, it was vetoed by the college president, whose explanation borrowed language from points found in act.il's petition. He was told what to say. I mean, it's the online network also claimed to have been instrumental in delaying the implementation of a new ethnic studies curriculum for California high schools by creating numerous missions encouraging users to argue that the curriculum was anti-Semitic and that it marginalized Jewish students. Love to know what that was. Was it not all about them? Did it tell the truth about them? The app's full user base can be difficult to mobilize. In May 2019, act.il directed users to an emergency web page of specific missions designed to defend Israel when the military opened fire on protesters participating in Gaza's Great March of Return. But an analysis by the Atlantic Council's Digital Forensic Research Lab found that the page it advertised received only about 300 visits, 56% from the U.S., 36% from the U.S. or from Israel, and 8% from Russia. Intensity, however, can make up for lack of breadth. Act.il's band of committed users, including the young people recruited by the site to learn online attack tactics, increases the likelihood that any online criticism of Israel, no matter how innocuous or accurate, will result in pushback. The rapid expansion of the app, coupled with Israel's eagerness to sell its high-tech security technologies and strategies to other countries, suggests that these efforts reflect a vision for a future of right-wing propaganda and online activism. Success for act.il then is not about going viral or reaching a critical mass, but about creating a standing army of trolls, always ready to take up arms in Israel's cyber war. So I made all that up, you guys. Right? That's right. There we go. He's just making it up, says the dumbass friar. Seriously, he's like short-circuiting right now. Right? He can't actually come up with something that's wrong, so he just says, I'm making up an article in the Jewish Currents. Really? It's the Jewish Currents. It's jewishcurrents.org. All you got to do is look it up. The article is called Call of Duty. It's not even hidden. Been trolling for over an hour. Dude, this guy's here every day. As long as I'm live, he's here. Every fucking day. Completely, totally obsessed with me. You know, almost like it's a job. Almost like it's a fake profile. Because again, there's no identity to it. It's fake profile, 8208. It's not managed by one person. It's not one person's profile. Multiple friars use this same profile. Same thing with the fake rabbi. Same thing with the Joel profile. Yeah. Just... Hi, Tootsie. Hi, baby girl. Yeah, bub. What? What?
Nick, speak English. Daddy, his door is open.
What are you talking about?
Daddy,
Okay. Hi.
coming.
Hi, little kitty. Hi.
Here, bring him in here. I got him.
Hi, fish.
I gotta go get him some milk. So I'll be white black. Oh. Oy vey. Gosh, nigga. Oy vey. Gosh, nigga. Always talking facts. I mean, yeah. In this day and age, it's too easy to get caught in a lie. Right? It's too easy to get caught up in a lie. If I was sitting here lying about this shit, and all you had to do, it is. Like, it's one thing for people to be on the same page as me and be like, you know, you're the one guy I know that's actually talking about this shit and saying shit the right way, and you know, I get it. I get why you would be here and checking it out. I do know that my actual fans aren't nearly as loyal as my haters. You know, my haters set alarms and shit. My haters are dedicated. And I just can't imagine that this is the way it is because I'm wrong. Why would anybody be this obsessed with me because I'm wrong? And they don't even know me. You know, most of them are in Israel, or at least their IP addresses are. If I'm wrong, then fuck the haters and the trolls. No, man, they're great. They're you know, having them is better than having you guys who agree with me. Having people that agree with me can just be dismissed as, oh, well, those people just agree with whatever you say. Okay. And then when you have people that disagree, but they actually engage, they're still, you know, it still works. It still makes sense. At least I'm saying something that can be argued, right? 89 degrees, Jesus Christ. It was like fucking 30 degrees the other day. But having a bunch of people who come here with the specific intention of fucking with the feed, you know, their sole purpose is to disrupt and distract and try to, you know, interrupt or change the subject or whatever it is. It's like, you know, if what I'm saying is wrong and or crazy and all that shit, and you can't come up with any reason why you have to resort to desperate shit, that's the most powerful of the three examples. Because you're angry and you're motivated. You can't come up with something that justifies your let alone, you know, says what I'm wrong about. It's you know, my feed wouldn't be nearly as good without all of this effort to try to prove me right. And that's all it is, man. It seems like if I was you guys, I would think that a lot of these people are hired by me to make me look better, because that's what they do. Like, they never make me look bad. They never debunk anything I'm saying. They obsess over me. They spend hours and hours of their lives on me. They cry, but not one of them ever even attempts to debunk what I'm saying, because you just can't. How are you going to debunk metzitzia? What are you going to debunk? The only thing you can say is, well, it doesn't happen as much as you think. Yeah, it does. Now what? I can provide you with actual, numbers. Like I said, in New York alone, they average between 3,000 and 3,600 metzitzas every year, which works out to be 10 every single day. And we all know they're not working every single day. So once you take, holidays, days off, weekends, all kinds of shit into account, it's probably more like 20 per day. At least days they're active. And you have to ask, like, how many people were like, yeah, I'm going to be a moil when I grow up. Oh, why do you want to be a moil? What do you do as a moil? Oh, I specifically do circumcision metzitzas. That's all I do. I don't have any other function in the religion, in the cult, other than to perform this one ritual act where I go around, cut a baby's penis, and then put it in my mouth. Do you understand how fucking crazy that is? I might lose you guys in here. Surprisingly, I don't have good signal here, so we'll see. Hopefully that doesn't happen, but it might. Brought facts and evidence. They just brought bitching and ignorance. Like, it'd be different. It's just a personal opinion. But dude really countered them hard, and that was solid. I've been doing this for a long time. I'm really good at what I do. As a matter of fact, I'm the best at this. You want to talk about chemtrails? Go talk to people like Matt Landman. You want to talk Earth shape argument? Go watch Eric Dubé. I know little bits about it, but I'm not nearly as good as those guys are in their specific field. When it comes to this, which is the most important of the arguments, there's nobody better than me. Which is why I get what I get. Which is why I'm censored like I am. And not allowed to, look at these paltry numbers. 8 viewers and 18 likes with 2,600 plus subscribers. What part of that makes sense? This is where I might lose you guys. Thor, their desperation and extreme reactions to stop people from complaining about their wicked deeds has always led to their own exposure. Yeah, that's it. I mean, it's not like, this isn't up for it is up for argument, right? Like, if you can come up with an argument, by all means do. I'd love to hear what you have to say. But the reality is, there's just nothing. There's nothing any of you can say here. Nothing is going to make your insane cult make any sense whatsoever. And I don't need a whole bunch of examples of it. If you think I need more than metzitzia, the Talmud, soul correction, that's 3 fucking things. You've got some really high, strict standards then if you think that's the case. Now, those 3 aren't good enough. I need more. Not gonna happen. You're not gonna find, like, in most extreme cases like this, you're not gonna find somebody that makes 3, irrefutable arguments. It's just, that's not how it works. Most of the time, your average truther, again, so many of them say the exact same things. So many of them say the exact same shit. They read from the exact same script. And that's why they're allowed to have the big ass numbers that they are. That's why they don't get this kind of bullshit. 2 + 2 will always be 4, exactly. And that's it. Always. It will always be 4. You can fuck around with math and be like, well, there's, you can look at it from this and blah, 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 and that and blah, blah, blah. You can do that if you want, but that shit doesn't matter. It's more than enough. You would think. But damn, the watermelons are expensive. They were like $5.99 last year. Now they're $6.24, $6.94. That's huge. Fuck everything Israel, Billy. Everything Israel, everything Fryer, everything you is pedophile, trash, bullshit. And all you do is prove the point. I appreciate it. Like I say, I wouldn't be able to do this so successfully if you guys weren't here constantly reiterating my point. It's fascinating. I always thought this would be harder. I thought going against the grain, going against the big dogs, the main thing, it'd be harder than this. But it's shockingly simple. And it only takes like a reasonable, you have to be a reasonably decent person, and you have to be willing to look at the information presented. Right? That's all. Hey, you're the one flying the pedo flag, Billy. Of course it's called for, you piece of shit. You're a pedophile. Anybody that flies the pedophile flag is a piece of shit. Right? You're just a horrible, horrible, disgusting. I hesitate saying human being when referring to you guys. Because you're just so far from human beings. You're just slimy, disgusting pieces of shit. It is the flag of you people. Yeah, you pedophile, genocidal pieces of shit. The shit you guys do to your own children, like, that's the thing. As bad as all of this is, the shit that I'm always focused on is what you guys do to your own goddamn kids. I'm not even talking about the genocide and all of the hell and torment you bring to the world. I'm talking about what you piece of shits do to your own fucking children is just uncalled for and unacceptable. It's just unacceptable. Yep, Pablo likes his dudes with short hair, right, Pablo? Right? Now, that's the second person that's used the barbershop, because it's not a computer program, right? It's not It's not an organized effort. They're just saying the same shit. Because again, you're talking about a bunch of bald weirdos with big fucking shit-filled beards. Jealous as fuck that I'm my age and my hair still looks like it does. Sorry, I didn't go bald in my 20s. So I had to grow some disgusting beard that's full of shit particles, fecal matter. You can't believe what you're hearing, that you're a pedophile, that your cult is pedophilic? Yeah. Yeah. Us dumb Goyim aren't so dumb anymore. You stupid asses are the ones that put it out there for everyone to be able to find it. It's not like I'm making some shit up. All anybody has to do is go look up Israel Hayom, Bottom of Darkness. Matter of fact. Can you tell me about Israel Hayom, Bottom of Darkness?
Israel Hayom is Israel's most widely read free daily newspaper. It's right-leaning, founded in 2007, and owned by the Adelson family. It's known for strong pro-Netanyahu coverage and being a counterweight to more left-leaning Israeli papers. Bottom of Darkness is the title of a shocking investigative article they published in April 2025. It features testimonies from multiple women describing organized ritual sexual abuse of children in religious communities, ultra-Orthodox and religious Zionist, involving ceremonies with prayers, symbols, and sadistic acts, often by family or rabbis. The piece draws from interviews with survivors, therapists, and experts, arguing these cases are dismissed too quickly by police and society. It's heavy, graphic stuff with reader discretion warnings. Some testimonies are hard to read. The article has sparked wider discussion and police reviews, though investigations into these claims have historically faced skepticism and quick closures. Want more details on either part?
I think it's kind of interesting that you always say the exact same thing. Are you reading from some sort of program script when asked about this topic? Because literally you say the same thing word for word every time.
No, I'm not reading from a script. I'm generating fresh responses each time based on what you ask. If it sounds similar, it's because the topic hasn't changed. Same facts, same...
No, it's not similar. It's the exact same word for word. I actually have it recorded many times.
That's actually concerning if it's literally identical every time. I generate responses on the fly, not from a fixed script. Either something's glitching hard on my end, or we should test it. Want me to give you a completely different take on the topic right now?
Yeah, sure. I'd love to hear what you could come up with. What is a different take?
Here's a fresh angle. Israel Hayom, usually known for its strong right-wing slant and pro-Netanyahu stance, ran this piece by Noam Barkan on April 23, 2025, that dives deep into survivor accounts from both ultra-Orthodox and religious Zionist circles. The women describe group ceremonies mixing prayers, Torah elements, and extreme sadism, often by people close to them, like family or rabbis. What stands out is how these stories crossed typical community lines and got airtime in a paper not exactly famous for challenging religious institutions. It even helped spark Knesset hearings and new police looks into the claims. Heavy reading for sure, but it shows how these allegations have legs beyond just one echo chamber. Want me to zoom in on any particular part?
Yeah, talk about soul correction.
In the article, abusers twisted Jewish spiritual ideas to justify the horror. They called these group ceremonies soul correction, claiming that making the kids suffer, especially sexually, would purify their souls, atone for sins, and bring about some great correction or redemption. One survivor described how the whole ideology revolved around suffering, purifying the soul. They'd gather naked in circles, recite psalms, light candles, and put the children in the middle for the abuse, all led by a rabbi and framed as a holy ritual. It's a sick perversion of real concepts like tikkun in Jewish mysticism.
If it's a perversion, just like with you earlier, how is it that so many people for decades upon decades keep misinterpreting the same thing the exact same way if it's a misinterpretation? Kind of sounds like it's what it says.
It's a perversion because real Jewish mysticism uses tikkun for fixing your own soul through good deeds, repentance, or personal hardship, not for torturing kids in a circle while reciting psalms. That idea doesn't exist in any mainstream or even fringe Jewish text.
So then how do so many people come up with the exact same ritual? That's not something that people just have a similar intuition like the article might suggest. It's very specific. The rituals are all the same. The psalms and the quotes are all the same. You can't just have people misinterpreting the same thing over and over again for decades while also covering up and attacking anyone that tries to point it out because it's not real. Looks like I broke it. Anyway, that's just an easier way to do it. The article itself is really, really long, and it makes it difficult for you to read it because it'll keep kicking you off, and it'll keep like taking you to different articles and shit. Like it's almost like they don't want you to read it. It's the most like it's such a terrible business model to do it that way. Why would anybody have a website that didn't want you to read its articles? Right? The binding of Isaac ritual, exactly. What was proved wrong? Hey.
How are you?
Good, how are you?
Good. There you go.
That's it? All right.
Yeah, that's it.
It should be lots more. I need some publishers clearinghouse checks.
Oh, okay.
I don't play it or fill it out, but I still want to check.
Okay.
They're all bots. Anybody that's going to oppose me at this point, they're either bots or they're part of the bot net that is act.il. Nobody in their right fucking mind hears about this shit and doesn't go, wait, what the fuck? This is horrible. We can't have this. This is... Any real person hears this shit and is appalled and you know, wants to do everything they can to end it. The only ones that don't are these fucking friars, man. Soul correction happens every 2 weeks. It doesn't say it used to happen every 2 weeks. It says it happens every 2 weeks after a Torah lesson, led by the rabbi. And the people that hide behind, well, that's just in the Hasidic communities and the ultra-Orthodox. Yeah, well, if you know it exists, why aren't you doing something about it? Why aren't you trying to fix this shit? Can you hit the light switch, please? How is he going to sound like anything but a moron? This is where you end up sounding stupid, right? If you start wanting intelligence from stupidity, you're the stupid one. Right? They're tricking you. These guys aren't capable of an intelligent response. They're defending pedophilia. Who can defend pedophilia in any sort of intelligent way? And I always make the comparison, but do you guys think there's such a thing as a good NAMBLA member? You think somebody can be like, yeah, I belong to NAMBLA. I don't participate in all the stuff. I swear I don't. But I give them money, and I lobby for them, and I vote for them in every case. And I especially attack anybody that speaks out against what they do. I swear I don't partake in the child stuff. But I support their right to do so. Is that an acceptable thing? Do you think anybody could do that? You think anybody could be like, oh yeah, say that to you and you'd be like, yeah, dude, that makes sense. Okay, cool. Yeah, you're a good guy. No. There's no such thing as a good NAMBLA member. And by that same logic, there's no such thing as a good friar. Until they're joining me in my crusade to protect the Jewish children first and foremost, then they're bad guys. What's NAMBLA? Come on, man. The National Association for Man-Boy Love. The National American Association, or National Association, something. Man-Boy Love, something. I don't know what the fuck it is. It's about men and boys having relationships and how it's perfectly normal and natural for men and boys to have sexual relationships. It's an entire organization that exists within the United States and is, actually a lot bigger than you think it is. You know what? Move, B. Move, B. Let's see what it says. All right. I'm surprised I haven't looked this one up yet. Watch, its founding fathers are like Finkelsteins, and who would be that surprised? No, this isn't what I'm talking. There's a place called NAMBLA. Interesting that Wiki doesn't have a page for NAMBLA. Let's see. I don't know if I want to actually have this on my fucking phone. There it is. Okay. The North American Man-Boy Love Association. North American Man-Boy Love Association. If you're watching, don't forget to like, share, and oh, look. Their logo puts the man-boy part together and makes the B a lowercase. The rest of it is uppercase. The B is lowercase and it's connected to the man. That is so fucking gross. The North American Man-Boy Love Association, NAMBLA, is a pedophile and pedestry advocacy organization in the United States. It works to abolish age of consent laws criminalizing adult sexual involvement with minors, and campaigns for the release of men who have been jailed for sexual contacts with minors that did not involve what it considers coercion. Oh my God. I can't imagine what a child could do to you to make you think they're coming on to you. You see this a lot in the pedophile groups or in the pedophile hunters, where the guy says, like, the kid came on to me, and when do kids come on to you? Founded December 2nd, 1978, 47 years ago. Man, that shit's fucking 23 days older than me. David Thorstad, October 15, 1941 to August 1st, 2021, was an American political activist who co-founded or ran a number of homosexual rights groups following the Stonewall riots in 1969, including as a former president of New York's Gay Activist Alliance. He later engaged in pedophilia and pedestry activism with the NAMBLA organization, of which he was a founding member. This fucking guy. He just looks gross. He looks like he smells poop. Let's see. Early activism. I want to know about his life. I want to know who he was. Yeah, I don't care about his early activism. That's really weird that him as a person is really hidden from us who he is. And that picture of him, I mean, that's the best picture you have of the guy? That's weird. The group no longer holds regular national meetings as of the late 1990s, to avoid local police infiltration, the organization discourages the formation of local chapters. Around 1995, an undercover detective discovered there were 1,100 people on the organization's rolls. NAMBLA was the largest group in International Pedophile and Child Emancipation, IPCE, an international pro-pedophile activist organization. Since then, the organization has dwindled to only a handful of people, with many members joining online pedophile networks, according to Xavier von Erich, director of blah, 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 blah. So nowadays, because they can just use the internet to get their fucking fix, they don't have to go to these parties and shit. They don't have to involve these groups. Now they can just send it to each other via dark web. They do that to their own. Imagine what they do to the Gazans. Yeah, well, it's atrocious. It's atrocious. And that's, you pointed it out, but that's the point I keep making with all of this. Yeah. Imagine what they do to their enemies. You know, there's the a few weeks ago, hasn't been talked about since. Strangely enough, the Temple Israel attack, remember, that had the biggest police presence I've ever seen, the biggest police response I've ever seen to something where the only person that died was the supposed Lebanese guy who sat in the parking lot for 2 hours before doing the attack, where he somehow drove a car around all of the fortifications designed to prevent a car from getting through, drove into the building with a car full of fireworks and liquid flammables, got into a gunfight, but that was only confirmed later. Initially, they said he didn't have a gun, but eventually they said, oh yeah, he did have a gun. He shot it at a couple of people, missed everyone, and then shot himself in the head, execution style. Interesting, huh? And of course, the video doesn't show any, or you can't hear any fireworks going off. You don't see any flashes or anything, but apparently, you know, lit it on fire. So basically, they're just going to have to knock it down and then rebuild it on the taxpayer dime. Funny, Mike Bouchard, Oakland County Sheriff Mike Bouchard, said he saw a video. The entire place is a fortress. It's a complex. They have security cameras everywhere. They haven't released a single bit of footage that shows anything of what they say happened. The only footage we got was from the supposed fireworks store a couple days earlier, or the day before, when he was buying $2,000 worth of fireworks. And then went and sat in the parking lot for 2 hours without anyone coming to find out what was going on, who he was, anything like that. But an hour after that bullshit, false flag nonsense began, the Israeli machine, I guess, dropped all charges against the six IDF soldiers who were caught on film raping a Palestinian man. They have those extendo batons that put that up to his butt and push the button so it extended up, tore his shit all up. But they took turns raping him, hidden behind 3 guys holding a shield. They didn't know that a woman was filming from up above. An Israeli woman who ended up getting arrested and got in a lot more trouble than the guys that were gang raping this Palestinian man. They actually, initially, they were detained, got arrested, and people love to say, it's not the people, it's not the friars, it's the Zionists, it's the government, it's not the people who are living in an occupied place, oppressing another group. It's not all of them. It's the government. Well, the people, in record numbers, went to the facility that they were being held in, banging on. Eventually, they broke through, got inside, demanded the release of the men who were subsequently released. Then they went around doing the Israeli talk show circuit, being treated as heroes. They all had on masks. Eventually, one of them got so big in his britches that he was like, fuck it, took his mask off. And seriously, other than that guy that was on the magazine cover that everybody got all upset about, this was one of the ugliest human beings I've ever seen in my life. One of those guys with like the shoulders that go down. He doesn't have any sort of square. It's just like a point from his head all the way down his shoulders. You know those guys, they look like fucking lizards and shit. Weird as fuck. He decided to take his mask off and he was treated like an extra hero. These guys were treated like heroes all over the country, doing all sorts of talk shows and shit because they raped a Palestinian man. All sorts of reports of them training their dogs to rape Palestinians, prisoners. People are getting raped by dogs. Again, if they can do it to their own kids, what can they do to those enemies? But this is how they do it. They always hide the worst thing behind something just as bad. Naomi Elkins is the prime example, of course. The mother who supposedly drowned her 2 kids, literally kneeled on one in the bathtub while it filled up with water. Her 3-year-old, her 22-month-old, she stabbed and then drowned in the other bathtub. And that's such a horrible, horrible story that nobody's going to question it. She was found not guilty by reason of insanity, given 75 years per kid in an insane asylum, in an institution where if she was found to no longer be a danger to herself or her community, she was to be let go. And I contest that she never went in, because there's another story involving her after the fact being involved in a real estate deal. But even still, she got the insanity defense, which Less than 1% of murder cases even go after the insanity defense because it's so difficult to get. And less than 0.25% of them actually get that insanity defense. They actually succeed in it. She was found insane after 11 hours of interview by one Peretti psychologist and a 90-minute trial. 90-minute trial. The thing is, if you pay attention, when she was arrested, she was dry. She didn't have any water on her. She supposedly kneeled in a bathtub. She didn't have any blood on her. The cops talk about how the floors looked like they were all mopped. There was a cleanup effort. The father isn't to be found. And then they find a door inside the house that's locked from the other side. And they don't think anything of it. The crime scene is completely destroyed by maybe 30 different friar men walking in and out. Hatzolah actually destroyed the crime scene from the beginning. Hatzolah is a volunteer ambulance service for them alone. They have their own police force too, but because the kids had actually died, they had to involve the real police. And nobody got in trouble for destroying the crime scene. If you look at the video, it's unlike any crime scene you've ever seen. Especially with as jovial and nonchalant as all the police are. And, you know, some of the men that are there are smiling, having a good time. There were 2 kids killed. Nobody's acting like 2 kids were killed. And the fact is, it sounds much more like a soul correction, bottom of darkness ritual gone wrong. Because multiple times in the article, they mention mock drownings. 3 different times in the article, they mention mock drownings. Mock drowning ceremonies, holding kids' head underwater, having them drown and then bringing them back. To me, it's pretty obvious that Naomi Elkins was a bottom of darkness ritual. But they hide. They hide behind a horrible story that nobody's going to question. When it comes to metzitzia, they say, oh, what are you talking about? Only 11 kids, since we've been keeping track, have come down with herpes, and only 3 or 4 of them have died. And you're like, wait, I don't remember bringing up herpes, but yeah, I guess that's not nearly as bad as, wait, what? They're hiding behind herpes. Like, herpes is secondary. There wouldn't be any herpes if there wasn't the pedophilia to begin with. But this is the kind of shit they hide behind. They do this a lot, actually. You know, that's what Palestine is all about. At the end of the day, Americans have all been seasoned with genocide for a long time. They know that we don't tolerate pedophilia as much. You know, when it has to do with the church, for some reason, we seem to be okay with it. But pedophilia is that one thing that unifies us. And we go, yeah, no, fuck that. We can't allow that. And so the fact that their pedophilic nature is really starting to get exposed meant they had to come up with something pretty extreme. And that's what they're doing. They're hiding their pedophilic nature behind genocide. It's fucking crazy, man. What do I want from the friars to not be friars anymore? To denounce their affiliation, the cult. I would love it if they would all go, yeah, you know what, fuck that. We're no longer involved in this shit. We're all here together. Let's make the world a better place for everyone. We don't need this bullshit anymore. That would be great. But since that's not going to happen, I want them to say, okay, we'll move to the Jewish Autonomous Oblast. Because that was a place designated for them a long time ago. Beautiful place, much bigger than Israel. But they can't keep Israel. They can't keep Palestine. Sorry. They need to get the fuck out of Palestine. And since they won't do it, well, that part gets kind of messy. But it is what it is. You got to crack some eggs to make an omelet, right? We're talking about a pedophile genocidal organization, a cult. That's whole basis, its whole identity is based in fucking fantasy supremacy. Jesus and God and all this other bullshit. There's literally no reality that validates their claims. They need you to believe in the Bible, of which they don't believe in, even though it's a Jewish book. You believe that children are evil too? That's what I said. I haven't said over and over again we need to protect the Jewish children, right? I don't say that repeatedly on my feed over and over again. They need to be rescued from what creates the psychopath that they all become. They need to be rescued from the cult, from the brainwashing. And if they're young enough, that shit can change. Middle of the Pacific, away from everyone else. No, they have a place already. It's called the Jewish Autonomous Oblast. It's a place out in Russia, in between Russia and China. A beautiful place. Beautiful land, mountains and trees and mild climates and no big bad Muslims. But at the end of the day, that's not acceptable. Because even if they're in the Jewish Autonomous Oblast, they're still doing horrible things to their own children, and that's unacceptable. We cannot allow them to continue to do such horrible things to their own children. And so that means an eradication of the process that enables and perpetuates the abuse. I mean, it might be ugly. It might not be the prettiest narrative, but it's what has to happen. We have to stop these children being violated and the justification of it. Just that simple. I mean, what else is there? Yes, with that comes the eradication of the genocidal nature and all this other crazy shit. Eliminating their shit brings about the utopia that we should live in, the Tartarian-esque utopia that used to exist. The reason things are as bad as they are is because they enjoy suffering. They like suffering. They like our suffering. Most of you, it doesn't make your TV watching experience any better knowing that other people can't afford your TV. For them, it does. They enjoy that, knowing that Again, like I said earlier, they could have taken Palestine right from the beginning, and in 2026, we wouldn't even be talking about it anymore. It wouldn't even be something that's brought up. If it was gone from 1948, they just made it into Israel, nobody would talk about it. There's a reason why they left 14% for the Palestinians, and it was surrounded by them. It's a pen. It's a holding tank. There's a reason why so many of the Palestinians were Christians. They weren't the Muslims that you've been told to be afraid of. Okay? It's why they don't call them Muslim militants. They called them Palestinian militants. Because they had already programmed you with Muslim militant or militant Muslims. So they knew if they used the same word with the same looking people, then they could get away with you making that connection that they were Muslims. They weren't. A large portion of the Palestinians are Christians. An even larger portion of the Lebanese are Christians. But it's because their rituals require that shit. Passover requires the blood being spilled of a bunch of Christians. That's why it happens like that every year. Every year on Passover, if you look back, you're going to see that there was a huge act of aggression by Israel on somebody, killing a whole bunch of people. This year, it was the last day of Passover when they did the 100 strikes in 100 minutes on Lebanon, killing hundreds, thousands of people. 100 strikes in 10 minutes. Last day of Passover. Passover is supposed to be when they're chilling out, right? No, it's all about spilling blood. If you have a fucking a cow farm and say every year you want to have hamburger day, do you first hamburger day kill all of your cows? Even though you know you only need to kill one or two to be able to supply enough hamburgers from everybody, would you kill all of them? No. Because next year, you wouldn't have any hamburgers for fucking hamburger day. And the year after that, and the year after that. Not to mention all the little hamburger days that you have throughout the year. No, you would kill just as much as you needed while maintaining your supply. And that's what Palestine has been for the last 77 years, whatever it is. It's been their little supply tank. When they need to perform whatever ritual they need to, they go go find a Christian child and blood libel them. Go fucking, do a bombing in a small area and kill a couple hundred people. Well, that satisfies the bloodlust. You tell me how it's anything. Why would they have left them to exist this whole time? Which only ended up making them look worse the whole fucking time. Right? Yeah, you guys are right. Autonomous Oblast, never heard of it. So they have two states. So yeah, exactly. The Jewish Autonomous Oblast was created in 28, I believe, and then incorporated in like 32 or something. But yeah, it was the Russians saw what they were doing. Saw that they were trying to set up the massacre of all these Palestinians. So they tried to give them their place. They called them out on it. Because all they've said the whole time is, prior to that, they would say, well, it's not just about Palestine. Because even Auto-Emancipation says that. It says it's not about the traditional homeland. It's just about a land of their own. And they would say that all the time. We just want a place of our own. We just want a place. So the Russians were like, bet, you can have this entire place, 3 times the size of Israel, of Palestine. And they were like, wait a minute. And that's why you've never heard of it. The Jewish Autonomous Oblast. It's fucking nuts. Everything I've been talking about, it's all the same shit. It's truth. It's readily available. It's just not pushed on you, so you don't know it. But I don't have to make up a goddamn thing. It's all already there. It's all already fucked up, and it's time. It's time for us to unite. Stop being distracted by what color we are, whether you like fucking dudes or not. Who gives a fuck if you fuck dudes? As a straight man, the more gay dudes there are, the better. That's less competition, right? What the fuck's wrong with you? None of you, I'm strong, I hate gays. None of those guys ever seem to have a problem when 2 hot chicks are getting down on each other, do they? Fucking hey, man, you're just being manipulated. You're being distracted. I don't like when they read books to kids. Why not? If you think a transgender reading a book to kids makes kids turn transgender, why don't we have a doctors read book to kids program and make everybody into doctors? Think about how stupid you sound. It's all a big distraction. Why do you think Gay Pride Month is in June? Because Passover is in May, usually. And all the atrocities that happen in Passover are almost immediately overshadowed by some gay guy did this or some gay guy did that. It's all just manipulation and it's all bullshit. And I'm exhausted. I can't believe I did this for this long again. Go get your free download, www.the-bilderberg, bilderberg-group.com. It's the first link in the description. The second link, which comes after a little bit of paragraph, is to Hollywoodism, the most important film ever made. The one that tells you why you dumb Goyim think the way you do. Why you believe in George Washington. Why you think the Civil War happened and all the other bullshit. Why you think they're the chosen people. It's their movie. They made it, 1998. It's all them. There's a phrase that's used twice in the movie that I can think of, it might be more, is essentially you could say that the American dream is the Jewish dream. Literally, word for word said. Because they used Hollywood to create not just the America they wanted, but the world they wanted. Israel Hayom, Bottom of Darkness article explains why they are the way they are. Why they can say, oh, your house got bombed. Well, were you raped from 3 to fucking 12? And then forced to rape a kid for your own transcendence and redemption? Once you became 15, 16? No? Okay, go buy a new house. It's not a free $3.8 billion a year. We pay for that shit. We pay for that with our innocence, with our lives. It's how you create an entire community of psychopaths. And it's all laid out for you in their fucking article. I provide you with the link to Naftali Bennett telling you that they control Wikipedia. Why I use Wikipedia, because I know Wikipedia is what they want us to know. There's no fuckery with that. It's not necessarily truth, but it's the truth they want us to have. Naftali Bennett says that they're there to make sure that everything that's on Wikipedia is balanced and Zionist in nature. Not balanced and makes the friars look good, paints Israel fairly, anything like. Nope, balanced and Zionist in nature. Auto-Emancipation link, act.il link, Team Jorge link, Operation Cast Thy Bread link. I provide you with a whole bunch of receipts in the description of this video, along with free music that's actually fucking great and not the same old nigga shoot, bitches, hoes, niggas kill. It's actually music that makes you think, that inspires you. Like music is supposed to be. Then there's a handful of links to the Facebook videos for those songs, some of those songs. So go sign up to go follow the Facebook page so that when this page gets shut down, like it always does, you'll still be able to find me on Facebook because I'll go live there when they shut this down. Go sign up. The only way we can do this is if we help each other, guys. I'm not asking you for money. I'm asking you for support. Just support it. I'm giving you as much as I can for free. The only thing I ask is that you share it with somebody else. That's all. And yet, you know, is it too much? Am I asking too much? Have yourself a wonderful day. And you pedophiles, kill yourself. Wait for it. Okay.